All right. I will, I don't know, refresh where I think we're up to. You will have to excuse my cognitive collapse. So who knows where we're up to be quite honest. I'm right on the edge of being able to string sentences together. So,
I think we just picked up a dagger of total destruction.
to be fair, I would probably go, yeah, he probably did. That's the kind of crap I would give away. So, we had... Right, see how good my auditory memory is. We had travelled to Kresk. To the village of Kresk with the large collection of dead things that you currently. So you've got Busty the Bust, you've got a head in a box, you've got the bones of a nun, you've got random stuff about things. You got all the way up to Kresk to discover that they wouldn't let you in. So then you went out to try and sort out a supposed werewolf problem further back down with Whiteclaw, further back down on the crossroads, and discovered that there was a woman living down at the crossroads who...
beautiful black coat.
That's the one, who was actually protecting the sheep, which are the only sheep you've seen in Brovia on this sheep farm, and which was run by a druid who had fabulous cheese. So you chatted with her. The Whiteclaw was you discovered the wife of the werewolf that you had met, who was living outside way back in the werewolf encounter in the with the rabbit pelts on the stairway last, and she gave you a tooth, and you created a pelt from a sample of her fur using some fabrication abilities, and then presented it proudly at the gate to gain entry into Kresk. And then they said they'd let you in anyway. So that was, detail. You spent the night at Kresk. You got a really nice inn where they...
Highly suspected.
Highly suspected. So Darovich, basically said, you can stay in my house, I'll move out. You stayed there. He made you breakfast. It was all good. And then you trekked up the way, up to the big abbey of St. Macovia that's sitting on the cliff above Kresk. It's very quiet. Nobody goes there. There's weird moaning voices and the usual Barovian shit kicking off up there. You went...
We know the drill.
Yeah, you know the drill. It's creepy. You went to the graveyard. You found the grave of Sister Constance, which had the inscription "Dead trusts him," and you went, "Oh, that's weird," and moved on. And then you found the crypt of Tasha, and Tasha Petrova von Habsburg's crypt, with the petals around a rose, with the dice that you spent a period of time decoding. You managed to get that open. Yep, Countess Tasha's crypt. You managed to get open.
She's the one that we had the baby, right?
Yes.
No, I don't think she was.
Hang on.
I have no
It
reason.
was the wife of King Falcon.
Yeah.
She was the mother of the one that
The mother, yeah.
Okay. And then you found a couple of rings in that crypt.
Who took the rings?
You got one of them?
Yeah, but I don't have it in here, so... Not
I
didn't take it.
There are 2 rings, so I am not sure whether you identified those or not. I can't remember. Did you?
Because I've got an identify spell on my thing. So I would've-
Fair enough then. We'll go with that.
I feel like I must have missed the last session.
I think you may.
You may have done.
I don't remember any of this.
You may have done. Yes, you were on holiday with the kids. Yes. So, yes, you weren't here. That's why this is all a mystery. Yeah, there was a lot of dice that you had to figure out a puzzle. You found a ring with the Habsburg crest on the ring, and with what looks like the eagle that is in the symbol of Ravenloft on that. Yep. And you also found a. I'm sure you know what they do. I'm sure you identified them. Yeah. So there's a ring of regeneration. Yeah. 1d6 hit points every 10 minutes, provided you have at least one hit point. Yep. If you lose a body part, the ring causes the missing part to regrow over a number of days, so long as you don't die in the interim. Yep. Okay. And then the Habsburg sigil ring needs to be attuned. It cannot be worn by an evil creature. It will damage you until you remove it if you try and attune if you are evil. And if you are attuned to the ring, you bonus action to do up to 1d12 lightning damage to a creature within 30 feet a number of times, and you can use it a number of times equal to proficiency, and regains charges after a long rest.
We were having a debate about this.
Yes, you've got it.
You
Yep.
sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the actual name of that one?
It is the Habsburg sigil ring. I need to put it in as an item, but essentially it's 1d12 lightning. It's got a number of charges equal to proficiency. Recharges on a long rest. 30 feet. Bonus action.
Unless anyone else wants to take it.
No, I like the idea of you just going.
I've got the lightning spear, so maybe I should just become Palpatine.
Yeah.
Okay. You then went through the gates and you entered this courtyard. So you are now entering the sort of the abbey. We'll go there. So the mists are swirling around this courtyard, and it smells. It smells like a barnyard, and you can hear chickens, and there's a goat, and there's sort of chickens zigzagging around, which is odd because there's probably more animals, and Quinny would certainly be aware of this. There's more animals here, other than the sheep farm, than you've probably seen anywhere else in Barovia. They're just like, this appears to be where all the farm animals are kept, in this random courtyard. Yes.
We did meet some hybrid human monster people.
Yeah, out and about, working in the fields. There was one
We
on
didn't
a sort
really
of...
find out what that was about.
No, you found one tending farm, out with a scarecrow in a field, doing some harvesting. Not really interested when, the Abbey's that way. You could see a huge guard of some description on watch. There were two at the gates, right at the beginning. And they're walking around on this upper wall, and you hear these sort of heavy footfalls, and they're sort of really slowly lumbering around this sort of almost mezzanine sort of level. There's wooden doors sorry, I'm killing this mosquito. Wooden doors to the north and the east, leading into two sort of towers, and there's a well. There was a well. There isn't a dungeon crawl down the well. We were going to do that as a one-shot because we had people missing, and then we didn't do it. We can go back and fall down the well on another day, but don't fall down the well tonight because I haven't written it.
Sorry, Antoinette's come back up.
I believe you went down the well. They've all pulled you out the well, and down the well there was you tripped into the well, if I remember, and there was a creature called Mishka in the well that was crawling up the sides of the well, and sort of wiry, spindly with a spidery face and talons for hands, and sort of climbing up and down the inside of this well. And then,
is there any actual people in the abbey?
You've seen some.
Like monks or whatever?
No, you've not seen any monks up here. You've seen very tall guards that didn't really move at the gate. You can see a very tall creature, a guard loping around, and you've
Elbranch picked up that they were not humanoid. Were they constructs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've picked up some constructs, and you found some more of the people that similar to the ones that you met way back right at the very, very beginning at the funeral down in Barovia Village before you installed George as the priest, of these sort of people who have, weird animal hands or animal faces and are just sort of generally odd, look like they've been cobbled together. Yep. But you've not seen any what you would consider to be normal residents of Barovia over and above the ones that we've currently talked about. And you are now in this courtyard, in the snow, outside of the abbey.
No monks, but loads of fine animals.
I would like to talk to the goat.
Okay.
He's actually a monk. Has that already been suggested?
I don't think so.
No idea.
I think these were like semi-closely related to the weird thingies and
Yeah.
this is more like Minecraft territory.
I think so. I would like to talk to the goat.
Go for it.
Best go voice.
Good best It looks at you. Sorry, I'm just putting this.
sorry.
I'm just trying to get some more air through.
Yeah, psychic damage, I think.
It kind of stops and looks at you. You see that this goat is tethered to a post, and it sort of goes, "What?
Is this place safe?
Depends what you mean by safe. I get fed. It's okay."
Who feeds you?
No. Do it
Who
properly.
feeds
The abbot, he feeds me. He feeds Ruby and Bertha, and he's sort of nudging his head towards the chickens over there.
What was the name of the sheep that died? The
What?
one that we ate?
Oh God. What was the name?
George.
It wasn't. I don't think it was George the sheep. It was Brian, wasn't it? Wasn't it Brian the sheep?
Brian. Anyway, continue. I just remember that.
You ate Brian the sheep, yeah. I'd forgotten Brian. Yeah. He was a good sheep. That was another random conversation. I found a flock of sheep. I'm going to talk to all of them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he feeds us. It snows. We've got a shed. And he kind of looks. I have to stay here.
Don't got anything else? Do you need to know anything else? Say hi to her?
The rabbit? The abbot. The
The
rabbit
rabbit
is
is a rabbit.
Oh.
Yeah, it is a rabbit.
The rabbit.
Rabbit. There are rabbits. They're in the field. The rabbits.
It's a
Yes.
missed opportunity for a rabbit.
That's where they are farming. In the field.
What's the abbot like?
He's okay. Seems
Can we
to
just do
care.
this decision,
You're all bastards. He cares deeply.
Can I insight check the goat?
This goat is
Meanwhile,
hiding.
Malachi has walked off.
You can inside
He's
check.
just going to start knocking on the
You can insight check the goat.
I imagine Edward's on the ground, like trying to look like a
17.
The goat seems pretty genuine. Doesn't seem to be deliberately trying to deceive you in any way. Seems goaty.
After that conversation, Quinny will turn back to the rest of the party. Meh! Sorry. Goat says the habit's all good. Apparently.
On the door.
Which door?
Natural moments.
This couple?
Biggest one.
Okay.
I remember you've still got enhanced ability passed on. I did that last session.
Oh, okay.
2 months ago. So you had advantage on crucial checks.
You remember 2 months ago I cast this spell?
I'm missing 1 spell slot from that.
Yeah.
It's a good spell.
Yeah.
As you sort of knock on the door, so there's 2 doors. There's a door to the north and a door to the east. I guess which door are you kind of aiming for?
What do they look like? Is there one that looks like more the traditional entrance?
Probably the door to the east looks like the sort of door to a big tower. It's got a nicer door. It's got a big heavy wooden door. The other one looks it's got iron grating over the top of the door. It doesn't look like it's opened as often. It's got a rusted lock.
We'll go to the other one.
Yeah, we'll go for them.
Just the lock figure, I say that's a good idea.
So, as you knock on the door, you can hear on the other side of the wall. You can hear music playing on the other side of this wall, and
That's what I'm imagining.
and the door sort of swings open, and there's this peaceful soft melodic cello music that comes out of this door. It fills this hall.
Oh yeah. I forgot I'm the music person. What am I doing?
You're the music person.
Do I recognise the melody?
Roll. Okay, you can roll a history check, I think.
I've got the perfect cello song.
It's a 25.
I wonder if there's some sort of like good rule you can make, just off the cuff, for example. Like if you could somehow join skills together to make a check. No, like if you rolled twice or took like did something with
It's
like
25.
history.
With a 25,
you could like somehow merge those together for a check.
you don't recognise this particular piece of music, but what you can absolutely say with a 25 is this is not a religious piece of music. So this is not something that you've ever heard within the Church of Light. So this isn't some kind of, complicated piece of a requiem mass for the rituals for the Morning Lord. So you don't recognise it at all in that sense. But you don't recognise it as a particular piece of music.
What is it doing?
It's
so as you walk in, this appears to be I guess the main hall of this tower, certainly within the abbey. There's a hand-woven carpet on the floor with a symbol of a sun, a blazing sun.
Sorry, I missed that. Where's
Sorry.
the symbol?
In the carpet, there's like a hand-woven carpet on the floor, and then there's as you go through that hall, you go into this sort of large room, so like down a vestibule, across this carpet with the blazing sun, into this large room, big wooden table, fire blazing in the hearth against the snow of outside. It's quite pleasant in here. This is like nicest place you've been so far. There are hand-carved, beautiful wooden staircases, good for a wedding, that flank the hall. One leading up on the south side and one leading down. So there's sort of big sweeping staircases going both up and down. There's some candles flickering in their holders, some votive candles around this room. There's an iron rack near the fire with a sort of pot atop it, and that you can smell what seems to be a hearty soup or stew being cooked at the fire. There is a large table that is set, and golden candelabras, very welcoming. It's very pleasant. It seems very, very nice. And you see a beautiful young woman with, that's her on the right there, with alabaster skin in a silk gown, standing by the table, and standing with her back to the table, looking out of the window at the snow, and a hooded figure takes her hand and whispers something to her, and then turns and moves towards you, and very graceful, graceful. Oh, welcome. Come in from the snow.
So the hooded figure is that fella.
So that's that dude there. Looks very elven for those of you tracking how many of varying types of humanity live in the wastes of Barovia.
The woman's blonde?
Pardon? The woman is blonde. Yes.
So she doesn't match the description.
I really know.
17.
No.
Immediately you were like alabaster skin. I'm like,
No, she's blonde.
I know alabaster.
does it look dyed? Can I look if it looks dyed?
Oh, okay. Roll perception.
Is your bell branch tingling?
24.
You think it is too white.
Her hair is too white.
Do you say that out loud? Just
and-
out of interest.
And I'll message into your head because I like annoying you a little bit. And I'll say, hey, Malachi, I think her hair's too white, if you know what I mean.
And
How
doing
do
all
you
these
reach
actions
via
are you're
messenger?
talking to someone.
You feel your eye just like start to twitch to it.
Oh, that's horrible.
So are you like
I'm
doing
just
all the
looking at you
actions, but
really
you're just talking?
perplexed.
And then I
Don't say it.
Sorry, what did you
Are
say?
you doing all the actions to him?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
only the spoken parts actually.
Something doesn't look white about that.
They gesture to the table, did you say?
I missed you, Chris.
Yeah,
Lovely.
come in.
I'd like to take a seat, and as I do, I'd like to activate my bell branch.
Okay.
And mask that I'm doing that.
Yep.
By sitting, so it's a little ring anyway.
Fine.
Do I pick up anything? Constructs, elemental, fey, fiends, or undead, celestial aberrations, 60 feet.
So, Fae, Fiend.
So, aberrations,
Yep.
celestial, construct,
Yep.
elemental, fey, fiend, undead.
None of those.
Oh!
It's alright, that's why I shut the fans. Thank you, well caught. It's alright, no. That's why I shut the fans.
You have to
Trade.
trade.
You trade those threes
I cannot see that moving with my eyes.
Did you not see
I
the
just hate
At the corner of my eye,
I need to knock that fan down. Let me knock the back one down and then it will stop pulling the
I
air
saw
through.
Emma's horrified expression. It's like,
Well,
what
it
the
was-
hell has happened?
Well, it was more.
It's like,
Sorry.
I was like, I need to
There you go.
I'm glad my Kenya was moving this up.
Yeah.
Oh, stop
Yeah,
it.
blood
Don't.
everywhere.
I've got spare ones. I'd just take it out, put you a new one in, and nobody would ever know. It's all...
What about the sharp one?
It's quite a lot.
What about the neck?
It's
Like,
like a
if it's
meat
in the
one.
same
It's not
place,
what I'm sure.
they wouldn't
I
know
swear,
really.
half of the
Yeah.
things
Yeah, I
I
can
find when I'm
see
searching for research are
Oh, no,
about
it's like-
keeping like patients.
But it goes into like
It's
yeah,
one of
it's
the
quite a lot.
really genuinely interesting...
It's about as long as they get before they go to a.
So much written about.
But it's one of the really interesting things about
because they can
providing
actually
care for
keep
younger
cameras in
people
place.
is that they have a very different
They used to
perception
change
of
the
privacy
things, but now
and
this one can say, like,
confidentiality to adults over our generation, or certainly my generation,
No,
because they do so much stuff
Oh, okay.
online,
Yeah.
and what they're prepared to share is so much more open than it would have been with Gen X and boomers and whatever. They're just like, what do you mean I can't just like?
privacy's out of it.
Well, no, exactly. But it's why? What do you mean I can't have my medical records and share them on the internet? Like, why would you stop me doing that? They're my. So we're very super concerned about your confidentiality, but actually a lot of our younger patients really don't give a fuck
Yeah, right.
and would much rather that we share their medical information freely amongst people who need it and give it, and give it to them to then publish online. And there's some amazing stuff coming out of some of the stuff in the US where people basically upload all of their, so big data mining. So basically people upload all their diseases, their symptoms, their treatment, like this is how I'm feeling today, this is what they've told me, these are my results, and basically you can data mine it, not in a information way, but in terms of well, actually, where are the links? If you go big data, if you look at hundreds of thousands of people being managed all over the world differently with their multiple sclerosis or their... Well, that's what's happening, is that you can start to see things that it's one of the things that helped with, interestingly, all the unifying with Ehlers-Danlos is a unifying diagnosis. It's people sharing all of their symptoms, and you suddenly discover there are millions of people, all of these things. So it's like, it's probably not this one person, this one person being slightly hysterical, because actually these are common experiences, and then you can start to use that data to put together. And younger people, because they have a really different idea about sharing their medical information than like people who are like, well, you can't use my health record because the government will steal your identity. And
But the only risk with that is insurance companies doing something. But as long as the government regulates that, that's really...
no, so most of this is anonymized.
Yeah.
Most of this is
And that's
anonymized
fine.
data, but there's some big platforms in the US looking at that, and it's just really interesting what they start finding in terms of weird presentations and links in diseases and treatments that don't appear immediately obvious. And in terms of forming, well, actually, we should probably research this because this appears to be a thing that this isn't a thing.
Well, I didn't know my
Anyway,
country could have-
it's irrelevant.
Still, I got recently.
That's all fabulous. None of that's happening.
Yeah.
Pretty cello music.
Pretty cello music.
Nice lady, white hair, alabaster skin.
Have we seen who's playing the cello yet?
No, you can't see a cello.
Okay.
Perception of one would tell you there is no obvious cello in here.
Oh, can I perception where the cello is?
You could do,
With a
yeah. Okay.
1, 2.
Yeah. You can both try that. Yeah, a perception of looking around the room tells you that there's no. What have you rolled?
Hang on, I need a... What is a perception? I have a massive plus to that, so like...
Yeah, but what did you?
15, I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Oh, shit, got plus though, man.
And you roll. So with a. So you rolled a 2, 15.
I rolled a 2.
Yeah. So with a 15, with a 15, you you feel that it's actually coming. You can't pinpoint a source. You think maybe from somewhere above, and whether it's actually just coming through the walls of this place. But it certainly doesn't appear to be coming from this room with a 15. So you don't think that there's like an invisible cellist in this room, if that makes sense.
Can I provide an accompaniment to this with a minor illusion stuff?
Go for it. What random musical instrument are you planning to illusion?
I was going to say probably like a harpsichord piano, or like a honky-tonk piano.
Or
Okay.
you just pull out like your side and it's actually like one of
Do
those
you
stand-up
have
organs.
proficiency with a honky-tonk piano?
You know, I don't.
Okay.
I do, however,
Yeah. No, you're fine. Carry on. But you do, however...
have proficiency with bagpipes. So can I do a bagpipe?
Please, come here, have yourself.
Just like pop the fingertips up.
The Bagpipe Cello Sonata number 2. The Bagpipe and Cello Sonata number 2. That common piece of music, well known throughout Barovia. Yes, you can choose. You can either roll intelligence without proficiency.
Oh, okay.
To intelligence without proficiency to have a crack at illusioning a honky tonk piano, or you can roll intelligence with proficiency, so probably Arcana.
Could I not use performance?
You could roll performance with or without proficiency, depending on whether or not you're using the bagpipes. You can absolutely proficiency with or without, so performance, but with or without proficiency, depending on the instrument that you're choosing to play.
I can't do bagpipes. So.
Valid. I'm loving the internal.
Much better, but it is better.
I'm loving the internal trauma that Antoinette's having about whether or not
She's
to do an
just
instrument she can play.
Yeah, do I play an appropriate instrument badly, or a really inappropriate instrument well?
Slightly better.
It's a tricky one. Go for it. Performance.
I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm
let's do
gonna
the
face
bagpipes.
at some point.
Bagpipes.
Whichever you'd prefer.
That's a 17.
Oh, that's pretty good. So there's this moment as you enter in, and Quinn is going to go and sit down at this table where there's this sort of lull in this beautiful cello music, and then there's a and you look around, and there's this sort of almost phantasmal set of bagpipes that's bigger than Antoinette. They don't scale.
They're like different colours, like.
Oh, are
yeah,
they?
like, really colourful.
The tartan is this weird, sort of almost lacy. It kind of goes with the Victorian dress. They have these, and the pipes are like the same sort of white china as her skin. This sort of odd, ghostly set of bagpipes, which are the same scale as a normal set of bagpipes and are therefore bigger than Antoinette. And there's this big set of bagpipes walking in front of her as she joins in with this cello music. And there's a moment where you go, actually, it's not bad. And the cello bagpipe combo is underestimated. And you sit there going, I never thought. And the abbot goes, oh, fabulous. A fellow music lover. Come in, warm yourself by the fire. Just watch that doesn't go over again. Let me pull that down. It's because the wind.
They're not bald.
The
Well,
wind.
it could be a week. I mean, I think I get the obvious impression of it being kind of like a Regency era. I think Pym would be at home here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pym would be at, yeah, that's the description. Pym would be at home here.
Hang on, Pym.
Pym's not here, but he would be at home here. So that they come in. The blonde sort of alabaster skinned lady smiles and sort of and wanders over to the window and sort of seems to be staring out at the snow almost wistfully, lost in her own thoughts. Doesn't really speak to you at all. The abbot over is like, come in. We don't get travellers so often in these parts. Come, you must be cold. Come in, but sit down.
I walk over and introduce myself to the abbot. Hello, my name's fellow man of faith.
Oh, a fellow man of faith from the church.
Yes.
Do you bring news from Father Lucian in Vallaki? I have not seen him for many years.
Yes, he brings well tidings. Yeah, things are going very well.
Deception.
I mean, look, things are going okay for Father Lucian, I guess.
Yeah, well, we totally
Yeah,
cleaned
he's
up
got
that
like his brother-in-law and son-in-law are dead. But other than that, yeah, details.
And what brings you here to Vallaki?
Well, I was sent to check on the churches and see if there's ways that I can help. This is basically my final stop.
Oh, fabulous! I'm sure there are many ways that one such as you could help the church. Please, would you care to join me for dinner?
I would love to.
And he walks over to the window and he He takes the hand of of this beautiful woman, Vasilka, and he says, "Vasilka, come sit at the table." And she turns and walks back with him and sits at the table.
Have an insight check on what her deal is. Whether she seems
Her
like,
hair's too white.
whether she seems like out of it, as in she's just not
hair
with things, whether
if it comes
she's
off.
charmed, whether she's just a bit ditzy.
Yep, go for it.
That's the technical term. 19 for insight.
You, she looks out of it. She doesn't look drugged or charmed.
Okay.
You would know what those things look like in the 19. She doesn't look either of those two things. She looks more akin to Antoinette than
Interesting.
than Harleen, for example.
Yeah.
It's that sort of slightly, slightly blank.
Not quite all there.
Well, Antoinette's very all there, but Mass as well.
The flesh does not quite connect to the mind.
The flesh appears to not quite connect to the mind.
Interesting. Quinny will just kind of scrutinise them. Just trying to work out what's going on. I'll keep an eye on this.
You watch as the abbot guides Vasilka to a chair, and she sits, and she sits with her hands sort of demurely folded at the table, and just sits there quietly. She's not said anything, and she doesn't change her expression. She just continues to sit there. And the abbot walks over to the fireplace and starts ladling this sort of hearty stew into bowls and passing it around. And there's fresh bread that he cuts and places on the table.
Can I please do like a rough arcana check?
Yes.
Just in the room, I'm just looking for
Yep.
are the candles lit naturally, or is it like fake? Like anything
Yeah.
that would be like slightly unnatural. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
would do it to spell cast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd also like to sit. I'd like to sit next to
Next
Vasilka,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to talk to her.
Okay.
Quinny doesn't eat this.
I'm gonna. So before we have dinner, can I ask if there's?
Mm.
Oh, hang on. Wait. What's the abbot's name?
25.
You don't know. You've not asked him. He's just known as the abbot.
Your Grace.
The abbot of St. Mercovia.
Your Grace.
Well, I would
I feel-
introduce him.
Oh.
Then you'd like to introduce to him as well. So hoping maybe he gives his name.
Your Grace, thank you for the invite to dinner. I feel underdressed though. Could I perhaps acquire an outfit of such fine standards that I could wear to dinner?
He smiles at you and goes, "You are perfectly dressed for dinner. Do you just simply want a change of clothes?"
Well, if there's one available and in my size.
I am not sure. We have very few children coming here. I could send someone to have a look. I am somewhat surprised when there was a knock upon the door that it was you. And you notice as you sit down that the table was set for 4. And he's sort of opened a cupboard next to the fireplace and is pulling out extra bowls as he's just ladling. So I was not expecting so many. It is quite an exciting evening. We have. I'm expecting a visitor from none other than you may know him. You've been to Valaki, Vasily von Holtz.
Oh no!
Fantastic.
He's coming to dinner. He's
Oh god.
he's bringing a friend.
Oh.
Is there a window in this room?
There was a
There is. She's been looking out of it.
Is it ground level or is it a little cliff?
It looks out onto a cliff.
Lovely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Connie's just taking note.
Okay. Until taking note of the exits, there's the door you came in that goes back to the courtyard with the goat.
My Arcana was at net 20 for 25.
About whether or not the room itself is magical.
Or just like anything in the room. Like
Yeah, so you don't think you don't see anything overtly magical. So the flames are all lit with matches. The fire is a normal fire. It's not a magical fire. You see a magical essence, very faint, coming from one of the drawers in a sideboard, but as a sort of chest of drawers. But other than that, no, you don't get any magical sort of radiation from this room itself.
We don't mean to intrude. We could come back another night.
You are here now. It is cold. It is snowing. You must have come for some purpose. Here, have some food.
When will your friend be arriving?
Oh, he'll be here when he is here. He said he would be stopping by for dinner. He was going to bring someone to meet me.
Should we wait for him to eat, or should we just go ahead?
Oh, you carry on. Go ahead. He would not want your food to get cold.
Quinny doesn't have these.
I will have some stew, and then at the end of my turn, I will attempt to get rid of poison in my body, and then see if I notice any difference.
Would I be able to identify poison, given I'm a poison?
Say that again?
Would I be able to identify poison because I'm a poison user?
Yeah, you could. Are you going for a sort of sniff and a taste, and how are you going to identify whether or not this is poison? You could. What?
End of turn, not action now. So
I guess
What skills have you got proficiency in? Because you could do this with proficiency. What intelligence-based skills have you got? I'd have to have a look. Sorry. That's my characters. Sorry, I'll have a look for you. So the answer is yes. So roll any intelligence-based skill.
So basically just add my...
Yeah, proficiency. So add proficiency. So intelligence with proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Done. Wow, that's not great.
Okay.
I get 10.
This seems like a very hearty stew. You detect no obvious trace of poisons that you know in this stew.
Still not encouraging.
No, I think I might stick to the sweets in my pocket. But I'll be like, yeah, surely.
Okay, that's fine.
I guess I'll be the one.
Quinny breaks bread and takes out some of the dried fruits and rations and just
did I detect anything in the stew when I attempted to remove poison from my body after eating?
No.
You're probably
I'm gonna use my lucky feet.
drop stain.
Sorry.
Use
Yep.
my lucky feet roll.
Okay.
Yep. Explodes.
That's a little bit.
And so does the sword that's carrying.
They didn't wash their hands after going to the bathroom.
19.
You do not think that there are any poisons here at all that you can't identify any evidence of poison. Seems like a really nice stew. You would suggest, with 19, you would suggest that the meat in this stew may well be goat. There may well be goat meat and rabbit. But other than that, there is nothing particular. And there's some vegetables and some sort of turnip and carrot. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with this
I
stew.
kind of give like a surreptitious thumbs up and.
I throw it
it's good to
against
go.
my face because I can't eat it.
Yeah, it's my hand do it now, like random sauce going everywhere. Making good.
Oh god.
Yes.
She's strange, but she's got a good heart.
Actually,
But she's
I don't
mostly
have a
just
heart.
And
You and when you say that, the abbot looks at you and goes, You don't have a heart? That's a very strange thing to say,
I'll
young
just
lady.
like unbutton the top and just like take open the little chest part. See?
Oh,
It's like gears and stuff inside.
No,
Is there like
it's just hollow. I like to store my trinkets in there.
there's like a Blinsky stamp on
Yeah.
it.
I think Blinsky's on your foot, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah,
Like
right.
Andy in Toy Story.
And
Fascinating. And
do you really have to do that at the dinner table?
I'm sorry.
amazing. And how did you become so lifelike?
Well, one day I woke up and I was alive.
Oh, okay. Fabulous.
I hope to cause this Albert a crisis of faith.
I mean, the
Oh yeah, my creator made me.
oh, the creator makes everything.
My creator made me. I've seen his shop.
Creation is a fabulous art and skill, and not to be underestimated.
The produce in this stew is excellent. Is it all from the Abbey?
Absolutely.
Quinny will say.
Waste not, want not.
Yes, I can't wait to try the pasta. I love ravioli.
Oh dear. Abbott, do you partake? And I'll take out some of the poison, not poison, the wine.
Normal wine?
Not the poisoned wine.
Okay.
I'll look at the wine that's got the poison and thing and then grab a different one.
Okay. You get,
Abbott, do you partake?
that would be fabulous. Thank you very much.
You have like a thing where, like some sort of serum where if you put a drop of it in, it turns like black if it's poisonous or something.
Like a poison detection kit or something.
Yeah.
That'd be good fun.
Oh, you might need to try and
You
make
should
one.
make one.
If I was whip it up, eh?
Yeah.
Well, why not?
Poison, drink much. Yeah, keep saying poison.
So,
Not poison.
as I said, what brings
Stop calling my cookies
a
poison.
group of travellers such as yourself, obviously, Brother Malachi here from the church, I must show you around. I think you will be very impressed with the work that we are doing here.
I would hope so, but the lack of attendance makes me concerned.
Attendance in what way?
The surrounding area, from what I've heard, not many people venture up here.
We do with the work of the Creator in many different ways. Many people go to worship at Velaki. That is what happens at the church here. The Abbey has different skills.
Like only appearing every 100 years?
Strange, young lady, strange.
That is, we know that he's been seen like once in the last.
He's not been seen. The abbot hasn't been seen for ages. Yeah.
Though you said he was an elf, so like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's still a recluse in that case.
I can respect the recluse.
I draw the line of immortality.
Yeah. No. He would appear to be a older male elf.
So we're talking like 400-500 years
Yeah,
old,
300-400, maybe a bit older. Yeah.
Remind me, wherever your timeline wise, what was happening 400 or 500 years ago, or was it further back?
So Strahd's about 700 and odd years ago.
Okay, so it's still within Strahd's time.
Yeah, it's within Strahd timeline.
The sword god.
That's a long time.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing you did in the last episode. You made the sun sword, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you make the sun sword
We did.
at the pool in Crest? Yeah, you did. I knew
I
there
was
was some.
thinking about just
I
having a
knew
chat,
there
but,
was
hey,
some.
like, do you think this guy's dodgy?
I knew there was something else that was important that you'd done. Yes,
The
sorry.
sunblade.
Yeah,
The
so
sunblade,
I'm
yes.
attuned to the
Okay, you tuned to the
No, it
sunblade.
was
Thank
really
you.
making that
Very good
prosthetic leg.
Yeah, you made a prosthetic leg. Yeah, out of a table, which is interesting for a religious figure to also have a patron in a sword. Interesting.
Lord of Light? No, it's me again.
Yeah.
No, he just starts pretending to be the Lord of Light. Yeah, totally slaughter the innocents. The Lord of Light wills it.
The Vasilka hasn't moved at all.
Yeah, can I slide up next to her because I'm next to her?
Yep.
And I'll say, "Hi there, my name's Antoinette."
She doesn't really respond, and the abbot leans over and touches her hand and goes, "Be polite to our guests, dear. They are talking to you. They're talking to you."
Can I Arcana check, see if he's doing anything like...
Yep.
Eesh, that's not good. 11.
With an 11, you don't think she's that he's trying to charm her. You're not detecting with an 11 in Arcana any spell casting going on. You don't detect any spell casting.
Okay. I'll look at her like really pale skin, and look at my own cracked white paint, and I'll say, "You have nice paint."
And she looks at you and she smiles. It doesn't quite reach her eyes, and that close up, you would be very sure that her hair is that the hair doesn't quite match the skin. It just doesn't. It's just not quite right. Kind of almost like slightly off. It's slightly off center. There's something about it that is not right, and that's purely carrying over the check when you came in and you were looking at it very specifically. So you're sitting there next to her. It's that thing where you're looking at somebody and there's just something not right, and you're trying to work out whether they've got a toupee that's gradually migrating around their head as you talk to them. That kind of thing.
With my invisible mage hand.
Nice.
I'll
Okay.
get the back of the hair.
Okay.
Try and like.
Yeah, go for it.
That's a bit.
You can do that.
Yep.
You can roll. You can roll sleight of hand. See if you can do it with advantage. I know, with advantage because it's invisible. In terms of whether or not whether you manage to do this in such a way that it's strong enough to move if it's good, if it's a wig, but not so obvious that it's something at the back of her head that's pulling. If that makes sense.
Oh, those are pretty good rolls. 21.
Okay, no 21. Your matron goes round and she's got her hair sort of braided back in a ponytail, and it just sort of pulls so rather than a tug like a bell rope, just sort of gradually increasing the sort of pull. Two things. One, she doesn't respond to that. So she doesn't sort of turn around and feel anything. The hair itself doesn't move, so it's not a wig. She doesn't whip her hair off. But as you're looking at her very closely, as your mage hand does that, you notice a very thin scar that's sitting in her hairline.
Transplant.
Transplant.
Yeah. They got cutting in.
You have arrived at Barovia's foremost cosmetic surgery.
I did joke that that's why she looks like
Cosmetic-
she just had way too much plastic surgery.
Cosmetic surgery clinic.
I'll
It's
just-
like a spa.
Where in Istanbul.
I'm 400 years old. You wouldn't know it.
Dermatologist hit him with this one simple trick.
It's like, no, yeah.
Can I
It's
just ask her
the
straight up?
Kresk Institute, yes.
Can I just say, I like your hair. Where did you get it?
And she almost looks straight through you. She doesn't speak. And he goes, oh, with the hair on her head? I believe that one came from an elf.
Strong hands.
Scalped.
And then he carries on eating the soup.
So he's eating soup.
He is eating the soup, yeah.
Can I have a look at him and see if I recognise any
Wait, it came from an elf.
clothing, jewellery, or anything that
I got the
would
kidneys.
connect him to the
Yeah,
church?
Yeah. So the abbot is wearing a sort of abbot's robes, and the sun, the symbol of the morning lord, that was on all Welcome the Rising Sun festival poster in back of you was on the carpet that you walked over in the hallway. That is absolutely the symbol of the Morning Lord. And you see a chain around his neck that you would anticipate to be the holy symbol of the Morning Lord. Yeah.
Okay, sorry to keep drawing attention to this. But can I?
What's this guy's deal?
No, what's with the hair? After seeing I was thinking of using my scissors to cut some of her hair.
Okay.
I saw the scar.
You're very worried about this.
Can I see if there's any
Uh-huh.
other scars that look like perhaps parts of her have been taken from other creatures and Frankenstein together?
Yeah. Roll. Are you?
Can I maybe pretend and say, "Oh, I like this lace on your dress," and
Yeah. If you are pretending to basically assess her, to see whether or not she's something that she appears not to be, you can roll deception. If you're trying to do that without being caught, you can roll deception. Or you can just either investigation or perception, depending on how you're doing it. Just explain
I'll
with your
deception.
choice. Okay.
While
Yep.
that's happening, can I give a help action by filling up someone's glass with some wine and knocking it over?
Okay, so you're going for a distraction.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yep, go for it.
Oh, forgive these clumsy goat hands. I have
That's a 19.
Okay.
I'm
So,
gonna research into your head and just be like, how do you
okay, so
I
with
like your dress.
So with a 19, as you circle around with her dress, her arms appear to be attached all the way up the sleeves of the dress. You can't see any obvious scars.
Here.
You can't see. She's wearing a beautiful gown. You can't see any obvious.
do you like
So you can see that just from looking at her. So given that you're sitting close and you're having a good look, when you sort of go, oh, your beautiful sleeves, her skin feels cold to touch.
But she didn't register as a construct or undead.
She's not undead.
You didn't say construct on the list.
Oh, didn't I?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it
Elemental is on the list.
Correct. Construct is on the list. Sorry.
I apologise. I missed that. I heard elemental, undead, fae, fiend, celestial.
Aberration, celestial, construct.
I missed construct.
elemental,
So
fae.
yes, you detect she's a
There
construct.
we go.
Sorry, you detect she's a construct.
That's what
You don't
I would
see,
have done the whole thing.
other than this very thin scar in the hairline, you don't see anything on her arms when you look at her dress. And she's wearing a gown. You don't see anything on her shoulders at all. You see this thin scar right up in her hairline.
Alright, I'm gonna message it to your head, and I'll say, I think she's made of other people.
Yes. I'm not sure what to do about that.
Feel free to retcon how you'd have communicated that if you want to.
Maybe just
If you want to just go, the bell branch that is now sort of your stuff is just gently. It kind of got lost amongst the cello and the ceremonial arrival of the bagpipes. The noise of the bell branch was subsumed, but now the bagpipes have quietened down with the arrival of Stu. Your staff, which lie next to your propped against the wall, you can hear it just singing construct in the background. It's quite a nice bell. It goes again with the beautiful cello music that it continues to play.
More bark.
I don't think I'd make a scene. If Antoinette messaged in my head, I would think I would suggest I would tell everyone that. Antoinette, for the record, when I say quietly, I mean we don't want the abbot or her to know what we know. It's like a secret.
Is it like the, oh, she's a construct?
Yeah, I was just gonna do that.
Was that your thing? Is that your vibe?
I think I'll probably say, I think everyone in here has a maker.
The abbot looks at you and goes, you seem particularly interested in Vasilka. Do you have you feeling kinship?
She has nice hair.
She does. It's
Did you
Could-
choose it?
You may be able to help. I have been unsuccessful in making it a different colour. It goes back to being this rather unnatural looking white. I'd prefer it to be something different, but nothing seems to work. I've tried paint. That was entirely unsatisfactory. Went out in the snow and it just all washed out. Do you have any suggestions?
Would mending work to mend it to its original colour?
Yeah, what's the original
A bit of a
material?
crazy.
Yeah.
You
Are you
could
aiming for a darker shade?
you could give it a go.
Okay. I'm wondering if with fabricate, if the hair is an object, if I could change it into an object of a different colour. It's a 4th level spell.
Jesus Christ.
As a combination of, I will rule that as a construct, trying to fabricate something of another construct with a combination of mending and magic and lighter. I'm happy if you want to give it a go. You can roll straight Arcana and see if you can achieve those things.
Cool. Let's do it. Using the fabricate spell or just using my...
You can use fabricate.
Okay, cool. Arcana.
Primarily to see how well you manage it.
17.
Okay, what you...
I want to make it look like my hair.
Okay.
Although mine... I don't know what colour my hair is. I think it's white.
Okay, so hers is your hair to
No,
start with.
I won't do that. I won't do
Okay,
that.
that's fine.
I'll make it look the same as the abbot's.
The abbot is also blonde. As you cast fabricate, sort of mending as this sort of odd hybrid construct to construct spell, you can absolutely sense that this hair at some point has been really unnaturally bleached white. You don't know why, but you can tell that, and that as you kind of sort of concentrate on her hair, you see it starting to darken from the tips of the hair all the way up towards the roots. It's a very odd thing to watch. It's like somebody having a really bad dip dye sort of ombre hair thing going on. It's just, it goes through this very odd sort of late 90s, 2000 sort of teenage girl phase, and then into something, and you're just like, fuck, it's like the bagpipes all over again, but with hair. But eventually, she sits there with dark hair, sort of almost black.
She looked like Arena.
She looks more like Irina with dark hair than she did with white hair. The white hair was distracting. It was very noticeably off for the rest of her features. The abbot looks at you and goes, "That is amazing. Thank you. You could help me with my work. Would you stay?" And
What work is that?
well, creating. It is what you do. Creating.
I don't create. Blinsky makes.
What? Blinsky. I had never thought of asking Blinsky to help. That would be such a...
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I was just waiting for Malachi to burst his clearly.
That
his
is-
back making.
So,
Then you just have, like, a
did
bunch of
Blinsky,
babies
and
like
he's
before
absolutely, this abbot's almost like forgotten the rest of you exist, and he's just like absolutely honed in on like, so Blinsky made you, and then he made you alive, or you became
I'm
a...
special.
Well, yes, obviously, very. And you have
We're
so
all
much...
special in our maker's eyes.
We are absolutely special in the eyes of those who made us. Yes.
As this is happening. Oh,
In my 100 years or so, I haven't seen anything so
aww.
You hungry?
99.
Can I message into Malachi's head?
Yep.
Say,
It was like near my
Malachi, Antoinette here.
You looked up your woman. What? What happened?
I'm messaging you like.
Yes, but I literally just go like that. I was like, what happened?
There's a knock at the door.
Oh, here we go.
Oh god. Okay, here we go.
What were you trying
I was gonna say, they're making patchwork people, we should stop them.
Can I just check something?
It's a blight on
The
my
last
face.
time I saw the Sleeven Hot,
What?
we fought and they teleported me past Strahd, yes?
No, he
We
put
said-
you behind the wall. You kind of
I
ran
tried
at
to
you.
cast Hold Person.
Yeah, well, you marched into his living room.
Yeah.
You tried to cast Hold Person on him.
Mm.
He got unhappy at his house being invaded by a load of people, and you ended up behind the wall of his bookcase.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good 5-6 levels ago. We can take it.
Yeah.
Can I?
We certainly can't. That was an 8th level spell. We cannot touch it.
Can
That
I?
was an 8th level spell. I had the book of fire.
Oh.
I'm gonna prick my arms in
Lovely.
search
Mm.
for any fighting.
Say that again. You are.
Going to prick like
Yep.
the arms of the Astral South and the visage of Astral South.
Yes.
The body of Astral South.
Yes.
Subject to fighting going on, like people attacking each other.
Okay. You're ready for a fight. Should a fight break out, but otherwise you're having stew.
I'm
Fine.
just braiding her hair
Nice.
while I'm talking.
You're hairdressing like some random Mattel doll.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent. Okay. Anyone else?
I'm going to ready true saying for Vasily coming
Okay.
You should just
Fine.
through. Just pop it.
I'm also going to steal a little lock of hair with my scissors as I'm styling
Oh,
them.
You
yeah.
snip it?
It's not him.
Yeah, I think
I'm wasting the 6th level spell.
I would
I'm
probably
like,
go.
what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he wanders over to the door and opens the door. And it's Irina.
Is it the
I
real
have
arena? Can I validate this?
Good
Like,
save.
can I?
How
Well,
are
we've seen
you?
a few arenas, so can,
Yes.
can I just like, this is the real arena? Check.
You should do your real arena check. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
Sorry.
that's 30.
It does 30.
Yeah.
It's definitely Irina.
Should we
Okay.
take my hello?
Irina walks in and goes, "Hello, Abbott. Hello. Long time no see."
Does she look happy to see us?
She looks somewhat surprised to see you. The
Does she look
last time
concerned
you saw Irina was just after the revolution in Valaki.
I thought
Yeah,
I
where
popped
she
in
is.
and checked in on her.
You had popped in and checked on her just after the revolution in
Oh,
Valaki.
okay, sorry.
Before you went off and got rid of the Morning Lord and sorted all that out, and then you installed George, and then you went back to Valaki, but you didn't see her, then you came up
Irina's
here.
the one that was the.
Irina's the one you accompanied right at the very beginning. Yeah, brother's the burgomaster of the newly up-and-coming Barovia village.
Which really needs to get a better name.
Well,
we were
there's
supposed
a
to get her here,
there's a question.
but
yes.
we were gonna try to cleanse this place first before we put
Yeah, that's
so she's.
Does
now
she look
she's in the-
concerned at all by the slight look-alike? Or actually, first, can I perception how similar the doll construct next to me looks to Irina?
And the last time, did you guys jump to
24.
So they look very now you've done the hair, they look very similar. There are some really subtle differences. So they look very similar. You would say they look like maybe
Like a stunt
cousins. Yeah, more closer than a stunt double. They might look like cousins rather than twins. They're not that close, but they certainly have a strong family resemblance. But they are different. So
And does Irina look concerned?
Irina's eyes slightly wider, slightly further apart. They're bluer. Her eyes. She's got bluer eyes. She's got blue eyes and dark black hair. now you're looking at them together, Silka's eyes are more of a grey blue rather than a bright blue. There's a slight difference in the nose shape. Irina's nose is sort of slightly thinner, it's a sort of Roman nose, and the jawline ever so slightly different. So they look like cousins, close but not identical. Irina looks perplexed, and as she walks in, she goes, "Abbot, you appear to have discovered hair dye," and sits down at the table.
Okay.
So you would assume with that level of perception that she's been here before,
Pretty sure.
and that the last time she was here, her hair was a different colour. So that's the bit that's seeming to be odd, rather than there's a member of my family sitting at the dinner table that appears to.
Is this the friend that Vasily was bringing?
Oh yes, this is Irina. Have you met?
Yes.
We're old friends. How are you?
Well, I have been fine. There has been a lot of work to do in Valaki of late. Many of the locals are travelling, which is unusual. Hasn't happened before. I've had word from my brother that things are looking up down in Barovia. There have been strange happenings. There's somebody's taken over from Father Danovich. Who would have known that? The church at home couldn't recruit any new priests. Yeah, you'd remember that, Father Malachi. So yes, do you know the abbot? I didn't know you were coming up here. We could have come together.
If I did. We're becoming acquainted.
Fabulous. He cooks a fabulous dinner. I think it comes from having so many animals on site.
Yeah. You must have great skill to raise animals in these barren lands.
Oh, the animals that walk in the light of the morning Lord. The morning Lord provides for.
Oh
I
god.
shivered a little bit.
And provides them back to you in return. So I'll just gesture towards the soup.
Indeed.
God, she's a cultist now.
Such check, does this match Irina's disposition to last time we saw her?
Yeah, this doesn't.
She seemed very grumpy and unhappy last week. She was far from chummy.
The last time you really saw her,
Well,
there'd been a revolution. There'd been a revolution. She'd nearly died. You'd invaded her friend's house. Yeah. And then gone, see you later, be back soon, I think was the vibe. Yeah, you did make sure she was safe in the church. I don't know what she's moaning about. 30. Yeah, Irina looks well. She looks like she's been eating. Do you know what I mean? She's not lost weight. She's not. She's wearing very nice sort of furs. Fireworks. I don't know. She's wearing nice furs that she's obviously come up in the snow. Yeah, no, she looks very well.
Okay, all right. Relax.
And she says, I'm sorry, Vasily was not feeling so well, so he stayed behind this evening. He asked me to send his regards. How goes your work, Abbot? And the Abbot goes, well, it progresses, but do you know? I don't. Is there a celebration?
We've been distracted.
Yeah, no fireworks.
There's one in Hamilton and Brisbane. There's that one. There's Frankston nearby. There's private. There's private. There's one in Edens Hill.
What are we looking at?
Oh, sort of.
Yeah.
One in Victoria Park.
Have you found a large collection of firework displays?
Brisbane has listed
Fireworks.
every single fireworks display when it's going to be for kiddos and stuff tonight.
Tonight, by the look of it.
Yeah, and exact times as well.
Interesting. The abbot goes, well, have you met Antoinette here? Not only is she a fabulous musician, she also is helping me with some design features. As you said, we've discovered hair dye. And Irina smiles and goes, very promising, Abbott, very promising.
I'm Antoinette.
And she looks and she goes, nice to meet you. Yeah, she takes your hand.
I'll kind of just spin my head around and then
Just
just a tiny
And
bit.
she looks at the Abbott and goes, I can see why you get along so well.
Abbott, pardon my asking, but your work, to what end is it undertaken?
Well, I must help I must help Strahd, obviously.
Help him with
Who said this?
Not the abbot.
Why are you helping Strahd?
Because he's sad.
Sad.
Because-
Sad.
Because he needs Tatiana and he cannot find her. So if he...
Tatiana's dead, and I'll bring out the book.
How's my sword guy reacting to this?
You can feel...
Halt, vibe check.
I want to check on Arena.
You have so many vibe checks. Vibe check whoever you want.
I'm doing this because I have no awareness, and I'm like, yeah, she's definitely dead. It says so in this book here. She's not lost.
26.
With a 26 vibe check, you get absolute non-confrontational, genuine empathy. That's all from the abbot. That's
Arena.
from Irina.
Is this
Irina's guarded.
Yeah.
Irina isn't surprised, but also, what did you get?
27.
27. Irina is hiding her absolute distaste and is frightened.
Yeah.
But she is covering well.
Mechanically.
Mechanically, you wouldn't have got that she was frightened on less than 25.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she's
High marks.
really covering that this is creepy but you also get to think she knows, and she's deliberately here, and she is deliberately hiding how she feels about this. The abbot, you don't get any of that. The abbot just seems lovely and empathetic and kind and open and welcoming about. There's no deceit or anything.
Can I ask who's
Tatiana
Tatiana?
was married to the guy who's now in the sword. So Sergei, Strahd's brother. So she married Strahd's brother. Strahd loved her, has always loved her.
And she killed herself?
Yeah, and well, he killed. As far as you understand, Sergei died. And that's how the sword got split and all the rest of it. And then Tatiana committed suicide rather than
And this is what
anything
Arena
to
bears
the
some resemblance to Tatiana from the
Yeah, Irina. So in terms of people that you know who've looked like Tatiana, Vash's mother looked like Tatiana because Irina looks almost identical to Vash's mother, and this Vasilka looks at least looks familiarly related to Irina. Yes.
Can I talk to Arena?
Yeah.
Talk to her.
Yeah.
Just be like, where's Vasily?
Oh, Vasily. He's at home in Vallaki. You've been to his
So
house.
he's not coming to it?
No. As I said, he's not well, really. He's stayed home.
Whatever seems to be wrong with
Oh, I don't know. Some kind of man flu, I would guess.
him.
Does he look only a third the man he was?
Well, no, he's just got a mild cough and a sniffle, and didn't wish to give his bugs to the people of Kresk. I would say that he just didn't fancy, travelling up here in the snow, and has taken to bed with a good book. But drama. Bram is looking.
That means it's okay to go a while if we need to.
Bram is looking after him. You've met him, his butler, his sort of manservant.
I might say to the abbot, have you spoken much with Strahd?
The abbot. The abbot says, well, not at the castle, but anyone with any ability would know that Strahd is sad, deeply troubled. We must do what we can do to ease pain and suffering. Those are the tenets of the church.
Totally agree.
Pardon?
Oh.
It's just gone.
We need to ease.
I'm not saying that.
Oh, you're not saying that. That's an
I'm
insult.
just that's an
Okay, yeah. That's my conversation. That's literally my conversation with Caitlin. Was that an outside thought or an inside thought, Caitlin?
I'm agreeing with
It would be like a only character campaign where anything said at the table is real.
Oh yeah, you just committed to it.
Like always.
It would be really hard,
Yeah.
but also maybe for like a one shot or two it'd be okay. I don't know if I could do it for a full campaign.
We got it for So you've not spoken with him yourself?
To the abbot?
To the abbot.
I know his wishes. Everybody in Barovia knows Strahd's heart was broken. Tatiana died. He has become bitter and saddened. I will create him a bride to fill that space in his heart.
We also have
We dolls have rights too.
Of course you do. Of course you do. You appear not to have stomachs, though. That stew is going everywhere.
You're pissed off now.
There's nothing wrong with the space in the heart.
I'm not gonna have one of my sisters made into a sex doll for Strahd.
Fair enough.
That is probably inspiration. Because that is that is the best line of the campaign to date. That is the best line of any Curse of Strahd campaign I have ever played in. Is my sister will not be a sex doll for Strahd. Yes. Okay. Well, obviously not. I mean, Strahd could fulfill those more carnal desires at any point. Strahd wants true love. I assure you, child of Blinsky, that I have no intention, none at all, of creating some monster that he can play with. No, I simply desire to fill the gaping hole left in his heart and soul. And I am getting there. My work is improving.
Can
But
she speak for what she wants?
that is why I'm so interested in how you became alive.
We need to kill this man.
Yes, no kidding.
I think we should first try to convert.
Okay.
Can I speak to Irina?
Just because that's my thing.
Yes.
Can I please ask Irina?
Is this
What
in
do you-
your inside voice head?
Yeah, because I can't speak any other way. So you guys don't actually know what I'm telling. If you can speak back and
You just
anyway.
start-
I'm happy mechanically, as you are now level whatever, and you've been
I can't
to
use
the-
my booming voice. There's 600 feet of me speaking.
and no, if you want mechanically, and it's up to you, you can choose to party line.
Okay.
So
party line.
I will say you have the ability to telepathically connect within 30 feet. So you can choose to target it at individuals or party line with I'm clearly talking to Irina and everybody else can hear me.
What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah,
Not
it's
them, but our party in Arena.
yes,
Okay.
that's fine.
I'm going to ask Rena. Why are you helping them with the Stroud project? And what do you think the situation of you being used as a mirror image for Stroud's plaything, or something to that extent? You know,
Okay.
what are you getting out of this? Why are you doing it? I want to know.
In 250 words or less.
Yeah, without a giant.
Tell us your motivations.
I would say it's much more nice.
Why are you helping this guy? Yeah.
Yeah, and don't you find it a bit creepy that he's using your likeness and not voice?
I'll carry your perception check from before in terms of reading Irina. Irina's trying to respond to this while not changing the way that she looks, which is hard. Pardon? Yeah.
I'll keep talking to the abbot.
Okay. Okay. So the conversation back from Irina is
Yeah, I'm gonna try to convert it to ways.
He needs to stop making winners.
I find and this is Irina's insight. I find the abbot's work somewhat abhorrent, but if Strahd has a love of his own, maybe he will be less interested in marrying me. Which would be the reason that
getting out of this situation.
this particular situation, we will see. I have concerns about why the abbot. I came here, and she stops and she goes, Abbot, may I be so bold as to take a couple of your guests and show them your work, show them some of the creating that you have been doing, how hard you have been working. And the abbot's like, yes, absolutely. If you're eaten, you know where to go, Irina. You are absolutely welcome to show them. No problems. And she smiles and she goes, come on, let me show you what the abbot has been working so hard upon. And she walks out and she opens the door back out to the courtyard. He stays there. He's sat at the table. He doesn't seem to follow.
I'm also going to ask her, how is Vasily involved with, what's his relationship with Strahd, and why is he helping? What is he doing about?
So as she's walking so she's walking across the courtyard, and she walks straight across the courtyard over to the opposite door, the one that you looked at with the bars on the outside, and she reaches for it and she opens and she goes, do you want to see? Do you want to come?
Can I quickly insight check, just detecting malicious intent?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, is she trying to hurt us?
Are we all going with her? Or?
Up to you.
I think it's just a couple.
Up to you. The abbot didn't seem bothered. He was quite happy for her to show you around.
21 insight.
You don't get any malicious. You don't get any malicious intent. You think that the 21 in insight. You think that she wants to be able to talk freely, and that she didn't. And are you there, or have you stayed with the abbot?
I think Malachi and I.
Staying with the abbot. Yeah. So you don't get any malicious intent from Irina, and you don't. You think she wants to be in a position to be able to talk more freely. She couldn't articulate it fast enough within a sort of message format while sitting.
How do you feel about this?
While sitting at the table in the abbot's hall, she didn't. She's looked for an escape to that situation.
Yeah, I'll be with you. Given
Okay.
these guys are now with the abbot, I'll
Okay, so you head over to the opposite end of the courtyard, and she opens the door to the there's a little sign which says sort of chicken shed, and she opens the door to the chicken shed, and through this sort of chicken shed it is a huge long building going back, and she as you walk in, there's a sort of foyer, and it's sort of seen better days as like a makeshift office. There's a list scrawled on the wall, and at the top of the list it's got "When the morning bell rings," and then what appears to be a sort of to-do list, maybe, with a list of chores. So garden work, watch, chop wood, cook, and then there's just sort of illegible and scratchings.
Have we seen any of the animal people doing any of these chores?
You saw them out in the yeah.
So they might be one to follow this list.
Yeah, so you absolutely saw them in that. Let's see if let's pull it up. I'll go pull it up primarily just because it makes it easier to see. I don't want it as a battle map, so let me just open them. There we go.
I think he's just like
See where it pulls. There you go. So you are here, going in here. Yeah. You don't need the sort of battle map of it, but so you've kind of come in here. Yeah. So you've come in here through this sort of chicken coop, and then you've come into this sort of area where there's this sort of makeshift desk. It's all sort of run down and falling to pieces. And as you walk down, there's a sort of a hallway, and it's not cluttered. It smells of barnyard, but you can hear people moving around in here with sort of guttural noises, some clucking, some bleating, some croaking, some noises that sound like words coming from the rooms off this corridor.
Can I peek into any of the rooms?
Yeah. So as you sort of make your way down this corridor, this sort of first room on your left here, it appears to be full of, it's a complete mess. There's broken furniture, there's things scattered across the floor, and you see these two what appear to be childlike creatures. One's got a sort of spidery limb, and there's sort of an ear of a pig and a goat's horn on the other side, and the other one has what looks like sort of frog's back legs as its lower limbs, and sort of dog ears, and they appear to be just playing some. It looks fun, yet largely destructive game of chucking broken furniture around the room while laughing at each other heartily. As you walk past, they drop all the bits of furniture and sort of look up sort of towards the ceiling and then go, "He started it!" Sort of at the same time, just pointing at each other and just look like this.
Do these look like strikingly similar to the ones we saw in the cave?
Similar but different. Similar kind of.
Like same maker technique, or it's like same person made them. Is what I'm trying to say.
These aren't as well made.
Okay. So this is like a copy.
Yeah. This looks like somebody who's trying to make something work. Okay. So as opposed to what you saw on the in Bloodspur was very specific hybridized creatures for specific purpose. Like, we're going to create a horse that can fly, that can pull stuff around and do things. We're going to create a super intelligent creature that can do things. So they were acting very specific roles.
Is this like the experimental phase or something?
Yeah, this looks like somebody who's like trying to make constructs and golems of varying kinds.
Because my original concern was like, are these things being shipped off?
Yeah.
Is there a
But it
I
sounds
don't
like
think there is.
maybe the abbot was testing with these, and now Irina lookalike is the final product.
Yeah.
Can I ask these two, either in their head or spoken, depending on what they understand? Are you in pain?
They look confused.
Do you want to live?
They look at each other and go, "We are alive? Are you alive?"
No. But do you want to live?
They look confused.
I don't think these two know what they want.
Valid.
Well, they don't seem to be in pain.
I'm just going to speak to Irina and
Oh, I forgot she was in here.
and just be like, you may speak freely.
To Irina.
Yeah.
Irina goes, I believe the abbot is trying to make a replica, a simulacrum of Tatiana, to replace Strahd's lost love. I believe he is genuine in that regard, although his methods are abhorrent. My concern is how he welcomes me here. I came here. It was one of the places when Vallaki was under such threat. I sought to come here. It was the other place my brother suggested, was to come to the Abbey at Kresk. I came here, and the abbot looked almost hungrily at me. I think he thinks in some way I am helpful to him, and I worry what that help may entail. I am torn between horror at what he is doing and fear of being betrothed to Strahd.
Did we ever find out why the Sleeve Hobbs took Irina? Was it just like a protective thing?
What if we promise to protect you and stop what's going on here?
If you are able to do that, these people have protected me from all the way to Vallaki, and I have no reason not to trust them.
And when she says them, does she mean
Yeah, because she'd not met you before. Yeah, they moved me from Barovia in the shadow of the castle to the safety of Father Lucian. I know Brother Malachi. He helped re-sanctify the church there and make it a safe place for all.
We may need to remind the abbot of his duties to the Lord of Light once the morning.
Okay. I think
So-
he genuinely believes he is doing good work. I think that may be part of the challenge, is that he seems genuinely caring, in that he worries that Strahd is broken, and that if he could help make him whole, maybe he would lift some of the terrible things afflicting this place.
I don't think that's how you look for things affecting this place. But we might as well go back and join the others now.
Okay.
But I will let you know if you need to find a safe place.
Okay. You go
Can
any
we
further
just,
down here?
Can we just wander
Yep.
through, maybe to a
So
room?
yeah, so you see some other sort of children, various things. The only other one that sort of, I guess, would
She said children.
children, yes,
Yes.
children.
This man has been experimenting on children.
Well, he's been building them out of various creatures. It's why they've got such an excellent. It's why they've got so many. It's why they've got so many. It's why they've got so many farm supplies that make excellent stew.
What did I eat?
The scraps.
Is this another fucking
Oh,
No.
Still probably
You can roll. You can roll insight on the stew.
Okay. Let's see if this was like a half goat, half human contract person.
Yeah.
It was a mistake.
And
It's
then
alarmingly close
If
to
he
it.
fired me again, I'll.
Ethard, we can roll insight on the
16.
stew with advantage. So Ethard, we assess the stew. Sorry,
16.
16. What's Ethard we rolled?
Just like he made some smart didn't work out. It's stew now.
insight with advantage.
With advantage, because you poison assess the stew.
17.
Okay. Between you, you don't think that the stew is made of people. So this isn't like the. This isn't
This
like
isn't
the
like-
hags.
It's not Auntie Morgan's pie.
This isn't an Auntie Morgan stew. This is more that, you know, if you're gonna chop up rabbits and goats and attach them onto bits of people and try and things, you've got lots of bits of leftover rabbit and goat. So you think theirs are coming from the creatures, not the people. Okay. I would have, in your 21 poison check or whatever you got, the hangover of, oh my god, is this in some way made out of people from the pie debacle? I would say that goes into Etherdwe's poison knowledge. Is this food made of people? Is part of your skill set. The only other, I guess, group down here that draws your attention any particularly is that in one room as you go past, there's a statue, a wooden statue, looks somewhat decayed and disrepair, looks very old, and there's this very, very elderly looking creature with sort of rabbit ears and rabbit feet that is knelt in the dirt on the ground in devotion in front of this statue, and you can hear sort of murmurs, and it sounds like prayers. It sounds like prayers.
Who are you praying to? Sorry. Who are you praying to?
You roll perception, just straight perception. She doesn't respond to you.
26.
26. You can hear it is a prayer. She is praying for forgiveness, and she's praying for mercy and for the end of her kind. And she's sobbing that she bears the heavy burden of witnessing the young grow old within the abbey's walls, and they're destined never to know a life beyond the confines. She turns and goes, "It is an act of mercy. It is an act of mercy." And with that perception check, you recognise the statue that she is praying to, and she is praying to what appears to be a statue of the water fae.
Oh.
The water fae, which one's the water fae?
The most recent one that you just consecrated.
No, the one that we consecrated.
Might have been Bubble Saga.
Bubble Saga, right?
Yeah, it is probably so.
Yeah,
It's the mountain one without sound yet, right?
Mountain
Yep.
one, we think it's in.
You thought it was going to be. You thought it was going to be Jenny, and then it wasn't.
There's four fae.
I will rest my hand on the bunny's shoulder
Mm.
and speak into her head and say, "We have met the water fae. I am pleased to see someone that should be."
Then you will understand that it is a mercy, that it is a kindness, that it is a kindness.
What's a kindness?
I use the seeds to poison the well. Eventually, it is slow. You, Ethridwick, can roll an intelligence, whatever with proficiency, whatever you would use for poisoning. It is the seeds of the zare flowers. You would know that they're one of the seasonal offerings to the Fae. They make a potent poison called Lover's Sleep. And okay, so you know, you got information about this from the Three-Eyed Poison Shop in Valaki. So you know what she's talking about. So you know that the seeds of the zare flower that grow along the Zare River contain this poisonous substance known as Lover's Sleep. It's only deadly when you ingest large quantities of it. Mm-hmm. So you can't quite see how poisoning a well would work. You could give her some tips and tricks because you're not sure that she's using it right. But it's infamous as a sort of, it's the Romeo and Juliet poison, using it as a method of escape or joint suicide and things like that if you take it in large enough quantities. But when diluted, it's very slow. So if you were poisoning a well, for example, you would expect it to be very, very slow, needing lots and lots of doses. But over that period of time, people become more and more lethargic and stop eating and eventually sort of peacefully slow down and just fall asleep. But it would be... So you think that she's trying to surreptitiously poison all the other mongrel folk, all the other hybrid creatures to stop their existence here.
What's this rabbit's name? Sorry, did we ever get that?
The rabbit's name?
Yeah.
No.
So is the rabbit the one doing the poisoning?
Yep.
Miss Rabbit. I don't know what to call it. Miss Rabbit,
Mine.
I take note of what you're saying. I'm somewhat proficient in the art of poisoning. What you're trying to do is, perhaps have ways I can help you achieve your goal. Could I have a look at the material you're using?
She pulls out a small vial, which contains this sort of swirling purple sort of liquid that you would recognise as the poison that you would extract from the zare flowers. That's called Lover's Sleep.
An interesting specimen indeed. Where are you getting this from?
There is a kind woman who lives in the village of Kresk. Her sister works in Valaki, and she has been collecting their flowers, and she brings them and she puts them right at the edge. And when we go to work in the fields, I collect them there, and then.
Can I just ask, when we got the people out of Blood's
Yes.
birth,
Yep.
The slightly
Yes.
mongrel,
The Shatter Brethren. Yeah.
Where did they go?
Oh, who knows? You were only interested in George. They just booked it off all over the
Is
place.
George also
a lot of them were broken.
No, George was one of Malachi's friends.
Yeah, because we could send these people to there, where they would also be among, friends. Those
You
who wouldn't judge.
right? You don't know where they are.
Yeah.
George might know where they are.
Where's George?
George's
We
in
could
Barovia.
send them on a pilgrimage to George.
You certainly think George would look after them.
Yes. I'll say, we have a friend who's met others like you, others who are made of different creatures. He might be able to help you. Why not give that a chance? Why not give life a chance?
A third city in
Would-
Barovia, and it's just gonna be
would
like
he-
this hodgepodge of-
Would he not turn away in horror?
No, he's seen worse things than you.
That is a summary of George's existence right there. Yeah, George has seen shit, man. George has had a bad time. George stubbed his toe while waking up and died again. Sorry, that is still one of my favourite D&D moments, was the rescue of bloody George. Oh, God. I roll insight.
Not great. 7.
You
Can I
don't...
try and persuade though?
Yes, you can try persuade.
21.
You think that she would... She's worried. She's frightened. But you think that she sees this as a viable option.
Hey, that's a thing.
Yeah. If we could get there safely and not be attacked on the road, then I would take the children and go and see this George.
Would everyone else be willing to make a pilgrimage to George to save these people?
I'm always happy.
Okay.
If my rabbit friend could show me where she obtains, where she
Are
works
you
in
just
the
trying to
field,
get the poison? Okay,
I'm
continue.
just trying to help her.
If you can help us leave this place, I will give you this one, and the lady who can show you the flat. She's in the village in Kresk. You've met her. She gave you the sacred spring water to take back to her sister. You think that actually you've met the people who could show you where these flowers are
Yeah.
Yes.
and how to make it.
And where they are,
Yeah.
up in the shore and all the rest of it.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to say to the rabbit lady, I'm going to say, if you get your people together, we'll take care of the abbot and you can follow us to George.
Should you not all wish to go on a pilgrimage to see George, you are just as a heads up, you are welcome to do that, because like Barovia is like a totally different vibe. But if you don't, you know a really kind druid with a wagon who lives down the road with a sheep farm. So you could potentially...
Hey, Arena might want to go.
I give you a holy mission.
You
Yeah.
could potentially get them there without necessarily having to go on a
Should
pilgrimage.
we tell
if
them
you
to
don't-
go in the... Should we go on a pilgrimage or should we...
You can make that decision.
I would give them to drop that. Like,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, we'll tell them just to wait there and to come with us when we leave.
She looks hopeful, and she walks over, and she kneels down, and she kisses the feet of the statue in the corner.
Aww.
Hmm.
Ooh, can I mending on the statue
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Nice
to
stuff.
make it look
Nice.
like the water pay again?
The statue regains its original, and although it's wood, similar to the altar at the fane, the grain in the wood seems to move like water once you mend it, and you see this, the rabbit ears sort of flatten back, and the eyes get huge and big, and she just looks at you and smiles. And I think it's the first time you've seen any of these creatures smile.
Aww. Oh yeah, we've saved these people. Alright, now let's go kill the abbot.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, what? I'm a nice.
Well,
No.
while you guys are doing that, what are you doing with the abbot?
I'm having a philosophical debate with him
Of course you are.
about whether or not this would be appropriate for someone of faith to be doing.
Okay, go for it.
So, why do you think that this is okay to create things when it is directly against the nature of our God we believe in?
Here, here.
That he creates it and not us.
When he has got a foot on the table.
Just
And his
hooves crossed.
Just he sort of cocks his head on one side and looks a little perplexed, and he goes, I appreciate this may be a test of my faith, Father Malachi, but does not our religion suggest that we should heal pain and suffering wherever we find it, and do all within our power to heal when it is possible to do so?
But not in a way that creates more pain for others.
Where does it say that?
I think it's just common sense. First three chapters.
Surely you can chapter and
It
verse.
says,
That's like prerequisite knowledge of being a good human.
Well, he's an elf. They have a different thing. And he looks genuinely. My understanding is that the horrors that have befallen this land, the centuries and centuries of suffering, are due to the sadness and brokenness of Strahd. And I agree entirely that what is happening to people across this land is awful. They suffer. They suffer in the cities. There are hags. The crops are failing. This place is evil and wicked. But it is evil and wicked because the ruler is trapped here because of his brokenness. If we
That is
can,
incorrect.
we can heal. If I can heal his brokenness with love and light,
Yes, light is correct. That's the
With-
one part where you're right.
with love and light, it will bring light back to Barovia, and the mist will lift.
Outside. Motherfucker, it's sunny again.
The villainness of everything comes from the darkness that is attached to Strahd. So
But
we
he
have
is
to get to
dark.
the root of that darkness and expel it with light. That is the only way to say it.
Exactly. He
But
is
giving
dark.
him some abomination is not going to. That has nothing to do with light.
He
Where is light involved in this process?
he
of
is
creation?
dark due to the absence of love.
No, he's dark because he made a deal with dark creatures.
And has
I've
the
got this book. You
absence.
can read it. It's like if you want.
He has the
False
absence.
prophecy.
But those dark creatures drove love out of his life, and I can bring it back and heal him.
I think we just bring
Roll
light.
insight.
Okay.
Roll insight.
While they're doing that,
I would love to.
we'll be back in the.
You can start heading back in that general direction. You've with 19. You and probably it says you recognise. I don't know whether Quinny would say this, but you certainly recognise that the sort of religious zeal and doing the right thing is very familiar.
Yeah.
And it's the same type of religious zeal that led to the incineration of the 16-year-old necromantic wizard. The executioner, or not really worrying whether or not Danovich was going to top himself because he killed his son.
Yeah.
And actually, was he or was he not actually really just a tormented dad? So Quinny sitting there, I imagine Quinny sitting there at the table, drinking, watching this philosophical debate about the rightness and wrongness of different approaches to religion, going, is this irony? Is this unclear what this is? But interesting.
It definitely is. There's a balance to this.
As there's heated.
A vague thing of, there is a balance to this. I appreciate as a druid.
Yep.
When we get back up, I once thought as you did, but I have now seen the light. Quite literally, actually. I saw the God of light, and he convinced me that I was wrong, and I was on the wrong path. As you are.
I agree. And he comes forward in a sort of almost conspiratorial whisper. I agree that, and he looks at me, he goes, I think I am also on the wrong path.
So you're going to join the God of Light?
Are you going to convert him?
I'm going to convert.
And he leans forward and he goes, you are right in that. And he looks and he goes, I will not be able to heal the darkness in Strahd with this Vasilka. I agree, you are right. But you could help me.
Hold on, we don't know what he's saying.
Let's let him finish the sentence.
You saw, and this is a conspiracy. You saw with your friend that Vasilka doesn't really interact. It doesn't interact in the same way that Antoinette does. Vasilka needs what Antoinette has, but Antoinette was created by Blinsky. She said so, but
she was given life by the God of Light.
She did not say that.
I don't believe it. That's just my personal.
Oh, okay. So long as we are clear what is religious dogma and what is fact, you guys can come back if you want to. But what
I definitely wouldn't say this in your presence.
Okay, so what Vasilka needs that Antoinette has is a soul.
Yeah.
Are
And
they going to steal my soul?
Can I jump up this?
no,
Can I jump up
She's
this?
got a soul.
It's a fairly evil
she you can jump up. She needs Tatiana's soul.
Oh.
Where are you going to find Tatiana's soul?
Well, she's come to dinner.
Oh, yeah. She's been reincarnated.
Abbott,
Yeah.
as a druid, we are practitioners of work with the soul quite often. And if you would allow me, I could impart a small section of your soul into into her, using some magic I've recently come to master.
Well, that as a skill may become very handy, but my soul in Vasilka would not in any way heal the missing part of Strahd and cure the land of its terrible sadness and curse. The only way that Strahd could be healed would be the soul of Tatiana. Now, I understand that. Because obviously she came. It is that Irina has fled from Barovia, where I believe Strahd was making advances upon her. She tells me she was taken to Vallaki, where she has been with Father Lucian in the church there. So she does not wish to go willingly, and no one in their right mind would ever make somebody unwilling get married. That would not be in any way a religious thing to do. The sanctity of marriage is, of course, sacrosanct. But if Strahd wishes to marry her, then she must contain a fragment of Tatiana's soul. If we could exorcise that and put it into Vasilka here, we could both free Irina and give Strahd what he seeks.
But Tatiana never wanted to marry Strahd in the first place.
Well, the original Tatiana may or may not have wanted to marry Strahd, but what's to say that her soul has not changed over time?
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
he is speaking an excellent idea, and we should do exactly that.
And he's gone now.
The door opens.
It's the sword.
Are you all back?
Is everybody drinking?
I don't know if Queenie has an
You've been, those things happened at the same time. So you can drink wine. Queenie's drunk about a bottle of wine. So yes, there you are back at the table.
Drinking wine?
Doesn't seem to be. Has a glass. Doesn't seem to be really drinking it. More engaged in deep philosophical conversation with Malachi as he returns.
I defer to you.
Mr. Abbott, I'm afraid that I don't think we will ever come to an agreement on this. I've been sent on a mission by the God of Light to rid this land of Strahd, not to aid me. So you can either be with me or against me.
But if Strahd were whole, he could leave, and that would rid this land of Strahd without the death. And surely that would be a better path to take to the light.
Are we there now?
Yes.
I will message him and be like...
Who are you messaging? This dude? Yeah, Abbott dude.
The Abbott dude.
Yep.
And being like...
Neville Chamberlain Jr.
Yep.
If he opens the gates, there are far worse creatures out there than Strahd.
That is true.
Do you think Barovia is there now? It is.
So are you suggesting that an unhappy Strahd is better than a happy Strahd?
No, I'm suggesting that a dead Strahd is better than a happy Strahd.
I'm unclear why you would choose death over love as a way forward. I find this challenging to understand.
I think we hear it out.
Okay,
Let's
let's
see.
go with her approach.
Let's hear him out over a bottle of Martico's finest
I'm curious.
wine.
I'm just gonna be like messaging.
Does his eyes light up at the prospect of
I'm going to trick him.
Well, Quinny's given a bottle of wine to the table. He's got glass, he's not drinking it.
he's not a connoisseur?
Not particularly.
Could you pass that?
Yeah. We'll party
Sorry.
chat that.
What's that?
We're party chatting. Our plan is to go with what he's saying.
Okay.
Okay, we can try your way.
And
Okay.
then if they come right of anyway, we deal with them.
Yeah. I'm totally prepping my like penny things while we do that.
Abbott, are you familiar with the druidic magic of reincarnation?
I am aware of reincarnation as a concept and as a thing. I do not think death would be necessary in this instance to simply remove a small fraction of us all and
I
put it
agree.
into another vessel.
You are quite right. And with the help of yourself and Father Malachi here, I believe the three of us could cast a spell that would take that piece of soul and put them into, what was the other person's name?
Vasilka.
Vasilka, and put them into the Silka. Would you be willing to help me with this ritual?
Well, it depends. I already know and how to remove the soul. And he walks over to the sideboard.
Is it with
Yeah, and he pulls out a small, like a small vial that is inscribed with this sort of script that appears to be gently glowing, and it is you cast your magic and you capture the fragment in this small vial, and then you can bestow it to another.
Can I try to bluff him and say, this is a very crude magical approach to this? The druids worked out a system for this many years ago.
Can I supplement that by saying, yeah, I think that's the method that Blinsky used to make me?
Druid.
Since he already seems kind of enraptured by it.
Yeah, yes. Go.
What
So you put that. Yes, I know. Yep, yeah. I know what you're trying to do.
Can
Yeah.
that count as like a whole
Yes.
Deception.
Yeah.
Not my best skill. 15,
No,
deception.
definitely deception.
18.
Oh, could I then attempt to separate deception? Oh, I guess.
You're probably better off doing that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Would I be able to separately see it?
What do you
With
want
what I was
to
saying about
with the
Blinsky.
abbot? Yep.
No.
The abbot on a crit fail,
Oh.
fucking insight,
Yeah.
is absolutely. Tell me of your methods.
And then what I want to do is basically describe a mixture of, because reincarnate's an actual druid spell,
Yep.
and basically half describe that,
Yep.
and chuck in a little bit of bullshit.
I assume
about
Arena's
stealing
here
soul,
now as well.
moving it from
Yeah, yeah.
arena to
Can I relay our plan to her while I'm
Yep. So
We're
what
gonna
are you
use
saying
your-
to Irina?
We're going to use you as bait. Don't worry. Your soul will not be taken. I promise you will be.
Irina goes,
Yeah, right.
like the town square at Valaki then. Excellent. Fabulous. I trust you implicitly.
Oh god.
You've been sarcastic.
No.
Yeah, can I get
And then
sarcasm
at
check?
the end of that
Yep.
description, I'll say,
Insight on Irina.
Yes.
Then.
Check.
Sass check on Irina.
the three of us would
Yep.
agree, and working with soul is a matter of pure will. You will want to fight the urge that fills you. You must give into it. You must let the feeling consume you, and give into it in order for the spell to work. And then we shall split the soul out through your creation.
Okay, then I suppose we should try. And he looks almost
Flesh to soul. Con save.
You're just telling them that you wanted.
he almost looks
So I'm telling you not to fight.
he almost looks longingly at Vasilka and goes, we shall make Strada a true bride, a true love at last. And he looks at Irina and goes, thank you for being so kind as to allow this very small fraction of yourself that you have inherited be given back. It is
And I'll nod
a
this.
true gift.
Malachi, if you would, onto my left. Abbott, if you would, onto my right.
Yep.
We will link hands.
With his nat fucking one in.
So as I start the
I'm
spell, you
just
will
gonna-
feel a great urge to resist. You must move with it so that the soul can move with us.
You could roll persuasion on the roll with the fucking major magic.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Although
press
you can
all my
roll
things
with
to be
advantage
just
on the
to
grounds
start.
that he
Yeah.
rolled a nat one on. You can roll advantage on persuasion,
Can I guidance myself as well?
of course.
That is
Oh god.
4, 3, 9. Persuasion is 7, so 16.
Oh, that's not bad.
What I'm hoping is he'll get disadvantage or willingly fail the saving throw for Flesh to Stone.
Oh, he 23 on insight.
Oof.
He looks and he goes, I believe you have the ability to do this great thing. If I feel afeared, I will pray to the Morning Lord. And if it feels that the soul is moving, then so be it.
So I'll get 3 of us to make hands, and then I will cast Flesh to Stone.
While I'm doing that, I'll also prep whole person if that doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah, really concentrating on which hand I cast this through. Flesh to Stone. So, attempt to turn one creature within range into stone. Target must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed, they have the restrain condition for the duration. And then on the next turn, they make another save. If they fail the second save. Sorry, they have 3 saves. They turn to stone.
Okay. So I have rolled his con save with disadvantage on the grounds that he thinks you are doing great things in the Source of Light. So his first con save is a 6.
Wonderful. So that's a fair. So he is restrained.
Okay.
As the bottom of the tiles on the floor just kind of start creeping up his foot.
He goes.
He won't. He doesn't get the extra saves if you damage him or anything. So you could.
He goes. You hear him start. Malachi would recognize. He starts to pray to the Morning Lord. A prayer for guidance and a prayer for clarity and a prayer for bravery, and it's the same prayers that would normally be said by sort of war clerics going into battle, to sort of trust the process kind of thing, go with the flow. It's
the
those
spell
kind.
is taking effect. Hold fast.
I'm going to say similar prayers, but deliberately changing it to the
Okay.
I am going to try and find like a handkerchief or something I've got in my pocket, or like some sort of cloth nearby.
Yep.
To shut him up if the spell doesn't take hold.
Oh, that's good.
So then at the end of each of his subsequent turns, he makes the save again. If he fails against it 3 times, so I assume that concludes the first. If he fails 2 more con saves, he turns to stone.
Yep. Okay.
Values don't need to be.
If I stun him,
fucking hell.
3 auto fails, right?
I don't know. Is there stun blocks?
So you might not need to. So on his second check, with disadvantage on the grounds that he is actively praying to desperately try to go with the flow. This is part of the process.
Yeah.
He gets a 1 or a 5. If he'd been at advantage, he'd have got a 5. So still a 1.
So that's 2.
So he's failed 2. Yeah.
Awesome. I will repeat it loud this time if I can, because I don't think I need to concentrate. Oh, I do need to concentrate on this. But I'll use prestidigitation. Prestidigitation? And I have mold earth. I'll do mold earth to make the ground around Arena like shake and move a little bit, as if there's magic happening on her.
Okay.
I'm going to look over to the troll and be like, is this what happened to you too? Wow.
Are you being sarcastic about this?
And on a perception check, he realizes that those things are unrelated.
Yeah.
And is starting to get really quite nervous. And he goes, I trust you, Father Malachi, in the Church of Light, that we are doing the right thing, and that your druidic friend here has the best of intentions, but it would appear that the magic he is casting, that she is casting, is affecting me, and not seemingly my soul, but more my legs and my waist. And I am unclear as to the relationship. Holding, you can feel the sweat in the palms as he's holding on to, not quite willing to let go of the fact that this might work, but at the same time, really worried this is not what it was sold to be. Any other actions before the next con save?
Yeah, I want to go So
Go
I
for
want to say, I really wish we could have agreed. And we could have reached the same opinion. I wish you could have come to the light and not tried to help Sky. But as a favour and as a service to the God of Light, I suggest that you give in to this process. A suggestion.
Oh, nice.
I suggest you make a heroic
Oh, suggestion: wisdom save or
Yeah,
wisdom save.
And I will hold Stunning Strike if he passes.
He's going to pass 3 games.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to
So 23. 23 on a wisdom save. Okay. He goes, I am bringing Strahd to the light through love. I do not understand why you wish to just kill. That is not the way of the light.
Could I use Phantasmal Force by any chance and create an illusion that means he has to stand absolutely still and can't resist this? Because you create a phantasm in the mind.
Yeah. What are you going to create? What are you going to
so
try
what
and
they
create?
need to do for this?
Fail a con save.
Fail a con save.
Things underwater.
I mean, it can't mechanically do anything.
Maybe like illusion of soul coming out.
Yeah.
That's what
I was going to say.
I was going to
If
minor
you-
illusion that before Malachi did that.
I was going to say, if you wanted to use phantasmal force in the same way that you sometimes do in nightmares, making people very frightened.
Yeah, exactly.
If you wanted to flavour that as an effect, as he stands still, he can actually see
The soul.
that's what's in his head, that this is actually happening.
Yeah.
You can
I would love to
have
do
that
if possible.
as instead of something that he's frightened of, that it's something he thinks is working.
Yeah, because they're convinced
Yeah.
it's real. So
Yep.
if I could
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that, So I make him think that his soul is coming out of his body and
Or you think that he's watching
the soul come out
Irina's
of
soul
him.
as he's standing there, that
Going
this is
through.
working.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a moment longer, the spell has almost taken effect.
Hold on!
Does he get to save against phantasmal
Oh yeah, it's an intelligence.
intelligence? He's doing badly. Like he's not.
Doing
I
very
don't like his
I got
chances
rid
or
of one of
anything.
his
So.
plus 20, so...
No,
And
this is going to be a 12.
Yeah, that fails.
He's in a mess now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's seeing sort of flashes of this. He's definitely fixed. There's something really
He's
wrong.
so convinced of the phantasm's
The
reality.
priest of light is definitely trying to murder people, and there's these flickers of soul, but it doesn't seem quite right. Maybe the faint noise of bagpipes over the cello. Con save. Okay,
Con save. If he fails, he's stunned.
I'm ringing. Con saving straight.
That's rough for him. Most stuff doesn't.
No, as a not at disadvantage. I think
Okay.
he's
That's
he's
probably
unnerved
fair.
enough that
Actually,
he's.
most of his body is turned to stone.
Yeah, I think he's probably drifting towards this is a bit odd. This is odd. 21.
21 is a success.
Oh no!
Stunning Strike.
So he's still restrained.
Yeah.
He's failed 2 pass rate. He passes 3 the spell.
Yeah,
that's a
so like
DC
death saves.
17 con save for him.
More con saves. This guy's fucked.
This is
Right.
fantastic.
And I'm just
Sister-
going to say to him,
You
as
could
I-
just stab
as I
him in
put
the
him on
face
back
if you
of the
want
neck
to,
like
you know.
classic karate
He's like
style.
just stood there.
Just be like,
That's like advantage with massive sneak attack, just so you know.
maybe
Um,
you should realise that you've only been seeing the dark.
You could roll it's straight luck as to whether probably he's talking a lot. At 9.
He fails.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Blacks out.
So he's stunned, so he automatically fails con saves.
I don't know. What's the rules that's written on concepts?
I've got
No, I think
Does he still?
I think stunned is strength.
I thought stunned with strength.
I don't
I'd
know.
have
They
to have
wanted
a
a strength and dexterity.
strength and dex.
Okay, he's still cons. But
Yeah.
he can't do
Because cons like death saves, so it's around overall. So
But he
it's
can't take actions and reactions because he's incapacitated.
so he's literally now restrained with no actions,
Nothing.
waiting for the end of his turn to roll a con save. Etherdwe, do you want an action?
If he passes this one, we should attack him.
What if I
There's my question. Is Ethelred
So he's
standing there with this guy encased to here in stone, who's been slapped upside the head by the mug,
I just want
and
to
is
see
now
the stone
stunned?
Like, you will put the
So he's got
effort-
no reactions, no actions.
I'm gonna have some a glove on.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab a piece of black lotus extract ready to put into his mouth.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
If
If he comes to.
yeah,
Okay.
or if he doesn't turn into a statue.
So you're holding to see whether he passes a con save.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shove it in his gob.
How's the arena looking right now?
Oh my god, 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 oh my god.
So large.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Irene,
Can I retcon something real quick?
gone.
When I cast
Thingo,
could I
yeah.
have used my Shadowfell shard to cast Med Magic just to quicken it? Because it's when you use the item on a Meta Magic ability,
Mm.
I can then choose an ability which it gets disadvantage on until the end of the turn.
Abilities or saving throws?
One ability score. Creature has disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws with that ability.
Oh, I love
So
Yes.
I could give him
Disadvantage.
disability on con saves.
So disadvantage on his next con save.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy for you to
So
do
I would
that.
have just attached that to the spell.
Okay, so
I knew I had something that should do that.
Yeah, and how's Arena looking? Is she looking happy?
Irina's just.
She is lying on a bench. Like,
No, she's just Irina. She's just sat in a chair, pretty flat, like not really reacting at all. 8.
fail. He turns to stone.
But just
Black
before
lotus
it goes
extract back in the vial.
I want to say something. Can we flavour it first?
Yeah. Go
Oh,
for it.
no, because
I go right up into his face and say, on behalf of the Church of Light, your services are no longer required.
Oh! Yeah, that's real stuff. He's stunned, not unconscious.
I think some you can say like one or two words and you can look around and stuff. It's
You're
not
just sort of like half paralyzed. Right?
Yeah, you've still got speech, I think, but you've got no actions or anything useful, and you've not got speech in a spellcasting sense.
Once this affects, though, he is paralyzed.
Yep.
As long as I keep my concentration for a minute,
Yep.
he just stays a statue.
Okay.
Yeah, can we smash it?
So if we smash the statue before it ends or now, any damage taken
Transfers. You need to wait for him to become a complete
so he needs
statue if you want to
wait,
destroy
I
it.
keep concentration for a minute, and then he's fully a statue
Forever.
forever. Either healed with greater restoration, or we can just smash it.
Do you want to talk to us some more? Because I can definitely just like put you in his head.
No, I like that.
That's the final line.
At the most,
Starts fossibling
you
like-
Oh, okay.
So,
I thought it was stone.
so,
Yeah, so he's a stone statue.
so
I'll
you're
speak to Arena and be like, is there any final parting words you have for the end?
to Irina. Irina smiles and goes, He was a poor, misguided fool, but a sickened and sad part of me fears for myself, even in the face of his.
I recommend we get you back to the lucky
Yeah, I would agree with that.
to somewhere consequences.
I can travel, potentially with the I can take the sick and the injured from here. If we can arrange transport, I can take them. Maybe go see my brother. Meet this new priest who's working in the church.
Come on, Malachi, like, do your job. Who's going to be the next
Malachi.
step?
I'll go on another trip to like the.
Oh,
to the
you know who we should
the
make
mind
the
flayer
abbot?
colony.
Oh God!
The wolf. The werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh, the
White
They're not really
White
in
Claw.
the church.
No,
That's
Xanamit's the
Yes,
innkeeper.
sorry.
Oh, I think
That's
I'm
a bit
gonna
of it.
Yeah. You're all sitting there having a chat, having a drink. Queenie's like
Can I
focusing.
draw a face?
There's
on
a
it?
microwave sound.
Ding. Okay.
Your mustache.
I imagine that the bell branch just goes as you reach your minute. Yep.
What happens to the construct lady?
Nothing. She's just sitting there.
He's finished. He'll stay like this forever. A greater restoration could bring him back, or
Stone to flesh.
smash him.
Do you
I
want
want
to
to smash him with the sun sword
Yes.
Oh.
because he was trying to like take on the sun sword's misses.
Yeah.
He's been returned back to the earth.
I feel like
Tell the dude that for his misses,
we explore like
This
the
is
library
Yeah,
scrolls within that.
Yeah, you can go on a wander around.
I mean,
There's stairs up, there's stairs down. You can go wherever you like.
Yeah, I definitely want to
I mean,
do
there's no one else we're aware of here.
So,
Well, there's just this. Well, there's probably a cellist somewhere. There's probably a cellist somewhere.
The line is any damage the statue takes transfers.
I fear to think what the cellist actually is, like a constructed octopus. Or something.
Yeah, sure.
just add to the head collection.
So you can go for a wander around in this building if you want to. You're on the ground floor. There's stairs up. There's stairs down.
I reckon we split up and look for loot and in clues.
Okay.
I'm
Don't take anything too valuable. This is still a church.
Absolutely.
meanwhile, I'm shoving silver into my bag.
Candelabras.
I'm keen to find records of the what's the lady's name? The one that had the baby.
You're a very strange child, you know.
I can't read. This is Chris Thomas talking.
I know.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I'm not. Ethically, will not be at much help because he can't read. But I might try and drag someone along, having heard the story of the von Habsburg lady who had the baby, who came here to have the baby, which is the whole reason I wanted to come here
Hang
in the
on,
first
did
place.
she ever come here, or was? Oh wait.
Yes.
Oh no, she did. She did.
did.
She come here or to
Malachi, sorry.
No, Abby
Abby.
Press.
I don't want to hold on to it, but I
Find
want
record.
us to.
Let's try. See
I
if
need
we
a
can.
1,000 gold worth of incense.
Oh, I'm gonna get the soul liquid and be like,
$1,000
could you open your chest for a
incense.
second? I need to guess.
Put it in my. Okay.
Definitely a thing to
That
keep
beats
an
it
eye
really quite far.
Now you have a soul liquid.
I'm a real boy.
It's fine. It's fine.
Just don't let it leak out.
Just want a bell branch. Let's check it's not like a vial of evil
Okay.
ichor or something.
So you wander around just in terms of things that you find going around. You go up the stairs and this cello music just doesn't appear to.
It's just ambience.
Yeah, it's literally like ambient sound. You can't find where on earth it's coming from. It doesn't appear to get louder or quieter anywhere. You go up, you find a library. In the library is somebody you know, who appears to be rifling through books and scrolls and looks up as you come in, and you see Esmeralda.
Oh, nice.
That
She
you
came
know.
to Kazan's
So you met her. She had the wagon that blew you up,
Lovely.
and she was like, is the abbot downstairs?
I'll show the little bit of the head that I've collected.
It's in pieces.
He's been returned to the earth.
Oh, has he really? Fabulous. And you see her, she sits down and she sits in a chair and she puts her feet up on the table and carries on reading a book. She's gone from being quite furtive. She's obviously snuck in here somehow.
Third story tower.
Oh, well, you don't know how she got in. I came looking for information about Strahd, and my journey. I left you at the tower. I made my way here. The abbot, who now appears to be made of pieces, he's been making a bride.
Yes.
For Strahd. He wants a soul.
Yes.
He wanted a soul.
You have dealt with him.
Yep.
Oh, good. That's fabulous. I can now. Do you mind if I've not found anything particularly of other interest here, other than all these books. Do you mind if I carry on reading, or are you taking possession of the place? Oh, okay.
Are you taking possession of the place? Pretty good.
Add it to your realestate.com, Barovia.com real estate.
Our estate portfolio.
Realestate.com.barovia. I'm going to see if I can get that as a domain name and create realestate.barovia.com.
Oh god.
That'd be awesome. The windmill. Do her upper. This windmill.
Tenants were rather harsh on this one.
Quoted in gold pieces.
You basically as you keep wandering around, you find right down the bottom there's a big wine cellar with a wine rack that's absolutely full of wine bottles.
Quinny gets the bag of holding and is just tipping the whole thing.
Hey, this is the wine thief.
Oh, of course.
Well, we can give it back to all the people.
Yeah. Just like 8 bottles, and then we can give the rest back.
There's a very drunk constructed person down here with 2 heads, with a wine bottle to both heads,
I like this style.
singing to himself in the corner.
We'll tell them
Quinny
about
takes a
them.
mental note to see if they can wild shape into something with lots of mouths and try that sometime.
Noted. As you're collecting wine to repatriate to the people who have no wine down in Kresk, there's a spell scroll here.
Ooh. Can we identify that?
Yeah.
Would you accept just like a wisdom with proficiency check from me?
Yeah, it's of any wisdom check that you're proficient in.
That's 21.
It is a spell scroll of Hero's Feast, and you find it rolled within
The bowl.
a golden bowl.
Oh, that's so good. Hero's Feast is fantastic. You get immune to being frightened, advantage on all wisdom saves, and a bunch of temporary hit points.
And immune to
But it
poison.
usually costs like 1,000 gold.
Oh, okay.
And immune to poison.
I think it's immune to
Poison, I think.
I took it instead of flesh to stone.
Yeah. But you need a golden chalice to be able to cast it. It's worth 1,000 gold. It's the resources that are tricky to.
What if we make food for the people of the town?
I think it only feeds up to 2.
Oh, okay.
It's the resources for the high level spells that are harder. Yeah.
Do you mind if I hang on to that one?
That sounds like.
Well, I figured it's something we're going to just use before we go into battle.
Yeah, it's a useful.
It's like
Yeah.
24-hour duration as well. So
Yeah,
it's
okay.
for 20
Big breakfast, go into battle with you.
Breakfast of champions.
You head up all the way to the top. There's a sort of belfry right at the very, very top of this tower, and there appear to be there are 3 cloaked figures just sort of sitting, up here, up in the belfry. No, you've not seen that, and they just go, they go, who goes? Antoinette, the abbot.
Guests.
Guests. Antoinette.
Are they like Kenku?
It does appear so. That there are 3 Kenku just hanging out up here.
Crow people.
They
But,
can
um,
Do you have money this campaign, or was it Randall?
Randor had a lot of Kenku, Kenku, outside of towns and stuff. There were a lot of Kenku. I like Kenku. They're good fun.
I'll say, friends?
Friends. Abbot.
Friends of the abbot?
Antoinette.
Antoinette's not friends with the abbot.
And this Kenku laughs, and it sounds like Corey just laughs,
Fantastic.
and then they potter off and they look out of the window, and you can see out of the window and sort of circling, you can see a raven.
Oh no.
No, good.
Good?
We're friends with the Ravens.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Yeah, but can't Strahd, like...
Well, we don't know what Ravens.
I think he used to be able to.
Never mind.
Not as far as we know.
And through the belfry flies a raven. It's a raven you recognise.
Oh, good. We're good friends with the Ravens.
And transforms into Muriel Vinshaw, Keeper of the Feather, friends of the Martikovs, the Were Raven, and goes, news? And they go, Antoinette, not friend of Strahd.
We would have to talk about the abbot.
Yeah.
Wonderful. The abbot has passed.
Wash.
And the Kenku go, look at Muriel and go, the abbot has passed. Antoinette, not a friend of the abbot. He has passed. And Muriel goes, that's fabulous. And she just walks past them and comes over and she goes, the abbot has passed.
Yes.
Hey, Chris, the abbot has been renamed as a lot of bits.
What?
A lot of it.
He's been returned to the earth.
He's gone from abbot to a lot of bits.
That sounds like excellent,
Sorry, it took me a second.
I
excellent
go take
news.
the head out and then I just like that.
You're adding it to your head collection. Excellent. Okay.
It was the will of the land.
She smiles and she goes, the Kenku, the abbot has overlooked for many years. They say little, they have no overt purpose, they don't really do anything. They make excellent spies that are almost like having a recording device here in the...
But it's a recording device.
You know, it records what one has said and replays it to you. They recount word for word what has been said. They make most excellent spies. We have, they are friends of the Ravens. We have Kenku in several places. They collect information. People underestimate those that cannot easily express their mind. And then she goes, maybe we'll see you at the Blue Water Inn sometime for a drink. And she turns back into a raven and just flies out to the belfry. You wander around the place. There's not a huge amount here. You find what appears to be a hospital, and you as you walk down, you see what appear to be a sort of almost ghostly figures of nuns just walking up and down the ward. But you don't see any malice or undead or skeletons or anything else like that. You don't find any significant. The only thing you do find is in that sideboard is this vial.
The one that's in my chest?
The one that you've put in your chest. And if you were to...
Real quick, see if it's good.
The vial. The vial itself you think is pretty neutral.
Okay.
In that it in itself isn't good or evil. You think that this can hold, similar to some of the things you found the hags are using, but again, not actively good or evil. There's script. It details how to remove a soul and store it. into this vial, and then potentially store that soul and put it into another body.
Oh,
I could get a real human body.
Well, I was actually just going to think that. Do you want to be a real?
when we talk about like,
Does it look like it's got a one use, or
Pardon?
does it look like it might have like a one use?
It looks, I guess, it's similar to what we're storing Claxi in, Ring of Spell storing, it's Soul story. So that sort of when you're in there, you're not much use to anything. You can only have one in there at a time. You think religiously you could probably get rid of the soul that's in this one into some form of receptacle, and then it would be empty.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to say you couldn't put another soul in there if you needed to. You would say on the list of options, I guess, would be leave it, destroy it, take it because you could potentially, in an emergency, store somebody in it to be able to restore them potentially to their own body if their own body hadn't been destroyed. Sell it to someone. There's lots of necromancers and bad people. There's lots of dead people around.
I'd be willing to sacrifice my soul to give Sergei a body in the end.
no.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just like
While-
this tiny little puppet too.
While you were dealing
My brother, and it's just
with the abbot, just generally,
Yeah.
you could.
I think there's a possum.
I think it's probably a family of possums, but making a lot more.
Someone pulling their
They go up the tree just here, so they're really close to the house. You hear the sword when you were arguing sort of philosophically with about how we're going to manage Strahd, and should we actually just give him a girlfriend and then everything will be great? Maybe we should just give him Tatiana. You could feel the sword almost vibrating in this sort of. So you think if you'd tried to go along with this in some way, if you'd have opted for, I don't know, maybe if we give Strahd a girlfriend, he'll be nicer and easier to deal with, and then we can finish him. You think that would have been very difficult to do. That Sergei would not have been, on board with that as an action. Yeah,
Good to know you first, right?
but yes. As you go back out into the courtyard, the goat remains tethered to the pole in the courtyard, but the courtyard. Oh, untie the goat. No, the goat's happy. But the courtyard is now full of assorted, this sort of almost refugee collection of huddled figures in rags.
Can I go to the well and yell down, Mishka, we're going somewhere else if you want to come?
You hear this scuttling noise, and this sort of head appears with these sort of spidery legs and claws over the top of the well, and looks around and goes, "We are all going." And the rabbit grandma is there carrying this beautiful watery statue of the water fae, as they all sort of follow you out of the gates. Where are you intending? Are you keeping the bones? Are you doing anything with the bones?
Well, there's two things. The first thing I want to do is try
Yep.
to find enough incense to hallow.
Okay.
And then if I can, that would be my next 24 hours, and then I bury the bones after I hallow the ground.
Okay. You can absolutely. I'll go there. You can absolutely find. You can absolutely find. This is an abbey after all. It's dusty and it's in a drawer. It's not been burnt for a long time, but you can find enough incense to hallow this ground. Given that Kresk now has the light, you go to bed. We're just wrapping up anyway.
Yeah, I
You
know.
get some sleep. Nice to see you, Dave. I would say that as this now sits within the light from Argynvost, the beam of sunlight from Argynvost, this will take you half as much time to hallow, and you actually feel it, that your connection is stronger sitting in the sunlight, sitting in that beam of sunlight, casting hallow, than when you've cast it before down in Barovia and Valaki. And you find the remaining incense from around this horrible place, and you hallow the Abbey at Kresk. And as you do so, you over the time, the snow starts to melt a little, and light starts to pour out, and the voices and the sort of odd wailing noise that you could hear off the hills from up here as you approached quietens, and you turn around and you see a couple of giant flesh golems from the gates, and the one who was walking around guarding the place, and a large collection of sort of varying animal people, all sort of standing with this woman with a watery statue of the Fae, watching you as the light starts to pour out of this abbey. And you re-hallow Kresk.
Yay!
Should you wish to become an abbot, you can re-hallow. You have a new house. It's nicer than the windmill as far as locations go.
I would very much like to come back after if I survive.
The adventuring standard of buying a tavern and settling down. Yeah, I've got a town here. I'm in charge of it.
Would this abbot have an agate worth 1,000 gold pieces that I can use to cast Awaken with? If it's a place where there's some spell components?
You could roll an investigation check.
Can I guidance myself?
Yes.
If 10 investigation, 13.
You don't find an agate, but you do find a note, a sort of a script, basically to Father Lucian in Valaki, saying that he knows that there are that he has identified that there are agates that can be utilised for the casting of religious spells up in the mountains, and then there's a map. So you don't find any agates, but you do know where you can get them.
I'll definitely convert on that level.
Okay. Yep.
I find this whole environment of being inside a warm, sort of, by D&D standards, modern environment with like raging snow and ice coming outside. It's very inviting.
Yeah, it's very inviting to be with the weirdo who just like chops things up and sticks things on other stuff. He is now a broken statue with all your other broken statue pieces.
Yeah.
I tell you, you're gonna have like some really interesting decor if you move into here, because you could have like his head on a plinth. You've got Busty on a plinth. You've got head in a box on a. You've got head in a box on a plinth.
Have that behind the bar.
You've got head in a box. You could make maybe a glass box so that you can see out of the box.
I'm going to cast animate objects on them so they all talk to people coming in.
They can all chat. Maybe you could animate them onto something and they could serve drinks. Yeah, that's interesting. It's almost like an Abbot-themed bar.
They could be like altar boys.
Flesh to Stone is also ambiguous on whether or not the abbot is dead or just petrified and conscious, which is terrifying.